Hello everyone and welcome back to the MCP Major Season 3. It is the final day of Play Day, Week 4, Day 3. Today is going to be the day where we find out who will be making it to the grand final. And of course, joining me on this crazy journey, it's going to be Abstract and Mustachio AJ. Gentlemen, it is the final day. We've been building up to the climax, which is, we're almost there. But wow, what a journey so far.
Yeah, a month-long journey, and it doesn't feel like it at all.
Wait, it's been a month?
Yes, it has.
Pretty much, yeah. This is week 4.
Week 4. Week 4. We've went through 4 weeks?
No,
surprisingly
we
enough.
haven't, but this is the last day.
I mean, we're finally going to be clocking in a total of 72 games all around the board for every single one of these, teams. And of course, I am just stoked and excited to see which team is going to be the actual one to make it to the top 12. Because yesterday it was exciting, it was scary for Access Esports. They were hovering at 10th place. I accidentally jinxed them, and now Overdose is on 10th. But never mind, Access is still 11th. They're not out yet. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut now.
Good choice. We learned the hard
You
way.
can't keep your mouth shut on the last day, Abstract. I mean, it is the last day. You got to make more of these predictions, right? But you are right, though. Access Esports, they did have quite an unfortunate day, but they've only dropped 1 spot. They're still safe in here unless teams like Umbrella Reborn as well as Ego Oblivions suddenly choose to wake up. AKO Ligers might choose to do so as well, but with only 4 matches to play and 46 points that they need over the teams that are already, a little bit more advanced in the league itself, it doesn't seem to be a viable situation for the AKO brand. What do you think, Danley? You've actually been waving the AKO flag for a while now.
I was waving the flag until Abstract joined the bandwagon, and that's when I knew I had to hop off that. I had to get off that train. Gosh, just
Unfortunate.
Sure, blame me. Sure, no problem.
we have a good reason to blame you, sir. Okay, we learned the hard way yesterday. What happens the moment you jump onto somebody else's bandwagon? So, folks, the moment Abstract is on there, get off that train right now. But there's always going to be the possibility, who knows, maybe Abstract's lost all of his, I don't want to call it fairy dust, because fairies are supposed to be good. I don't know what would be the opposite of a fairy. We could say demon dust, maybe.
Demon dust? Yeah, demon dust.
Demon dust.
All of his demon dust magic has worn off.
It could be caveman dust as well, who knows. That's moving on though. Here's the tournament format for our final day, folks. So we are going to be moving away from Bermuda. We have completed all of our Bermuda maps for the week, which means we're going to end the league stage with Kalahari and Purgatory. And I think these 2 maps, they're going to be great maps to end the day. Kalahari, a very difficult map to maneuver. It can be very volatile as well, as sometimes luck can come into play, but at the end of the day, it also depends on your positioning and how you set your team up. And Purgatory, again, very, very similar in that regard as well. Plus the added factor of the potential water circles and how you have to sort of maneuver your teams around those as well. Point system, for anyone that has forgotten, if you manage to get the booyah for the round, you'll be able to take home 12 points. And then as you go down from ranking, second you'll get 9, third you'll get 8. But then as you go down, if you end up in 11th and 12th, unfortunately, you're going to end up with 0 points for the round, which nobody wants to end the round with 0 placement points. You can offset this with kill points, and we have seen some teams make a comeback from a devastating first team elimination. So keep that in mind, folks. Kill points are equally, if not maybe even a little bit more important than placements. It really depends on the team's play styles as well. Here's the teams participating as well. We see 18 teams here now, but only 12 of them are going to make it to the grand final happening on the 16th. So take a look at the groupings, choose the team you're rooting for, and cross your fingers that they're going to be able to make it to that grand final. But from what we have seen so far and what Abstract was able to calculate, the majority of Group B are going to be making it to that grand final. But we could be seeing some changes. Who knows? Now, moving on, we are still playing for something for these teams. Top 12 is the end goal here, but also your placement is going to determine how much money you'll also be able to take home for the first stage. So this is you could say the first round of prizes to go around, but we do have a second round, which is going to be that grand final. And the grand final is where the big prize money is at. So this is sort of like an appetizer for the teams, a very long one if you think about it. 4 weeks of appetizer, but then you're going to have the main course happening in 2 weeks' time. So, oh boy, folks, it has been a long 4 weeks. We're almost at the end here, and we've almost figured out who's our top 12. I think up until this point, we've all agreed, I think 10th and up, maybe 9th and up, maybe just to be 100% safe. Those teams are more or less secured. It's the teams that are up, that are 10 and below, that are at risk of losing their spot and also at risk of making it. That's not really at risk, but potentially going to make it to the top 12. We do have our eyes peeled for a couple of these teams. I think the team that's sort of way out there, and my team actually is way out there, AKO Ligers. It's a big climb, right? It's a big climb for this team because not only do you need 40 points, you also need extra points to offset what the competition is also accruing, right?
Oh yeah.
So what would be the best case scenario here for some of these teams? Like, of course, you want the bottom teams to bomb out. That's in 11th and 12th. But what ultimately needs to happen for the likes of Umbrella Reborn, Ego Oblivions, and AKO Ligers to guarantee top 12?
Wow, that's technically a kind of tough question. Because we are already on the last day. Each of these teams only have a total of 4 games to play. And yesterday, they didn't really do very well to the point of getting themselves a booyah. I mean, Ego Oblivions did manage to get themselves a couple of podium finishes. It was not bad, actually. However, getting themselves the booyah is a lot more important than anything else. It is the surefire way to actually bump up in terms of scores. So all of these teams, they gotta have to get themselves a couple of booyah, because Ego Oblivions and AKO Ligers, if they were to get a single booyah without getting a single kill, that's only 12 points up. And if they don't get any kills for Ego Oblivions, then they are only at 338 points. And that is 2 points away from Umbrella Reborn, considering if they didn't even get a single point from that single round. So it's kind of like a big ask. It's a very big ask. Oh, sorry, 328, not 338. 28. So it's a big ask. It's still a lot of points to climb, and it's tough. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's really tough. They gotta have to do whatever they can. They gotta have to go aggressive as much as possible if they really want to get more points.
Just like what it was for Icon yesterday, it is for Umbrella Reborn as well as Ego Oblivions today, right? If Icon could do it, yesterday was quite a tremendous run for them. I'm pretty sure Umbrella Reborn as well as Ego Oblivions, regardless of their performance within the league stage, they've shown us that they do have the capability. But I think, you know, one thing that is worth throwing into the mix as well, it's not just Group B that's doing well, right? Group A is doing tremendous as well. Only one team from Group B and one team from Group A are currently not in the top 12, guys, and that is something quite impressive.
Boxes, so make sure you tune into the stream later on. We are going to have that code available so that you can claim it and also share it with all your friends and family, because this is not a quantity limited code, it's a time limited code. It's going to expire at the end of today, so share it, don't hog it. There's literally no gains for you not to share that code. So, gentlemen, I do believe we're going to jump into our first game very soon, but I want to keep the spotlight on some of these bottom tier teams, right? Oh, not bottom tier, sorry, but the bottom of the brackets teams. And something that we saw yesterday happen was Todak sniping script shots. Okay, we see it's technically a strat, right? Hot dropping on some of these teams to try and get those extra points. How viable is it for someone like Umbrella Reborn, Ego's Oblivion, and AKO Ligers to do this? Because they need points somewhere. And hot drops, I know AJ, you say this is very risky, right? It's 50-50. You don't know what loot you're going to get or if you get anything at all. But is it viable for these teams? Like, how confident are you in these teams' ability to try and hot drop maybe Icon or Axis. Or heck, they can even maybe try and jump onto Tactical Intex and WTG Expert.
They can try, right? But I feel like, one of the best teams within Malaysia itself have gone out there and done the test and have shown us the results of said test. It is most definitely a 50-50 situation. They did win one engagement where both script shots as well as Thodak managed to break away. And in another engagement, I did not see the players of Thodak walk away from that battle safe, right? They got eliminated in the 12th spot. So, I mean, if the Kings of Malaysia themselves can go down in a 50-50 battle, I would not recommend such a approach for Umbrella Reborn or Ego Oblivions. The approach instead, Danley, should be the game of survival and take your chances only in the final circle. It should all be about how to stay alive the longest.
Well, let's see who's going to survive the longest in this match as Game 1 is happening right now. Gentlemen, take it away as we drop in to Kalahari.
Exciting stuff going on here with the flight path starting off at 9 o'clock, ending off at 3 o'clock with a slight deviation downwards. We are going to be looking at quite a lot of these teams that have a good landmark for themselves. As you can see, we've got Tactical Intact that have managed to get themselves right inside the foundation, which is going to be the high loot area. None of these teams have hot dropped anyone, to be very honest. And I'm kind of surprised that Thodak is in the maze alone and is not actually anywhere close to script shots. We have seen script shots in the shrine time and time again, and that I'm surprised that Thodak did not jump onto them. So no more exciting stuff. And Thodak being in 5th place, I feel that they could just do that hot dropping kind of thing. And speaking of hot drop, right? I actually have very differing opinion about the hot dropping issue. But as much as it's true, it's really tough for you to be able to hot drop, and Thodak themselves did it. It's still 50-50. However, I would like to just give off a little bit of a comment to some of these teams here. If they want a hot drop, there could be a chance that you got lucky enough to get a good gun, and the opponent doesn't get a good gun. If you feel that your mechanics is just not strong enough to take them on in a 4 versus 4 fair fight, so why not kind of take that small little chance and take on a fight with them when they are ill-equipped? And if anything goes wrong, one person can just run away. That's just a theory. I'm not sure how good it will be, but maybe we'll be able to see someone doing that.
Well, Shahid has got the vectors in hand. Double vectors on top of everything else. Should be able to have the DPS to take down his opponent, but finds absolutely nothing. Beta turns around. Shahid shuts down the one and only Jabbar. It's a good setup for him so far, but a 2-on-1 situation finally will be breaking through, and Shahid down on the ground. The Beta will be able to fire right back. This is a full-on team fight now with script shots taking on the players of Orange Esports, and a pickup now from X-Lance will make sure script shots have got 4 players to continue taking the fight up against Orange Esports. And this is such a surprise because I thought Orange Esports would have been able to command Oldhampton, but it is the other way around. 3 kills on the side of script shots, and Orange Esports now on the back foot.
Shahid, he bought a lot of time to ensure that the rest of his members from script shots managed to just take that jump all the way into Oldhampton. Orange Esports unfortunately took the fight rather poorly as they did not manage to respond in time. All in all, that fight is all just down to timing, right? If whether you are able to bring the opponents down while you have the numbers advantage, or you're just gonna let the opponent slowly storm onto you. Because Shahid have got a decent amount of idea as to who's around the place and how many players is, well, around the place, right? So that instance, Orange Esports gave 3 easy kills. I wouldn't say easy, but 3 kills over to script shots, and that is 3 points that they are really happy to take.
Axis flying over the players of Hard to Get straight into the compound of Tactical Intex, and beyond that, the players of Do Easy. Tactical Intex all of a sudden now the ones who are going to be in hot soup if Axis continues their pathway directly towards them, forcing them into a pincer position against them as well as Do Easy. The players of Do Easy will have to handle Icon as well as Bloody Heads as the things, of course, will break down at Kalahari as usual. Do Easy, they find themselves at Refinery, and they will not be moving until the circle demands of them to do so. And most of the time we have seen luck favor the players of Do Easy as the circle comes looking for them time after time.
Yep, most of the time when Easy do get the booyah, it's mostly because of the ring pulls. However, they also know how to adjust themselves based on the ring and how it goes to. Unfortunately, on this end, we're going to be looking at how to get fighting against Overdose with Shadow being knocked right down. But fortunately, or rather, unfortunately, somehow even though he was behind a glue wall, he still found himself dead to the hands of Pin. And with one kill to their name, I'm pretty sure that Hard to Get is not going to be that interested in continuing this fight against Overdose, and they are just going to submit defeat and come back again stronger after reviving Shadow back into the game.
Days of Overdose. They are in a situation where they don't really have to be super nervous because they've done enough already to get into the top 12, sitting down in the 10th position, but they cannot get any complacent as well. They have to make sure at the very least they are not bombing out in the 12th position. They have to continue at the very least putting out 8 to 10 points maximum, right? If they want to stay safe within the competition. That might be a lot to ask, looking at the fact that all of the teams out here on the battlefield want to prove themselves on the final day left in here within the league stages. But look at this, Tactical Intex now getting caught in the danger zone, and there's not much cover that they can fall back to, so hopefully that does not hurt the squad all that too much. Mark getting caught out in the open. Bloody Heads under attack now as Vaytay Esports, they hunt them down. Forbits with the AC-80 just needs to get 2 of those shots back to back, and Mark is gonna be a goner. Car 98 in hand should be able to turn around and respond to the situation, but caught all out in the open. Morgana with the suppressive fire, AK-47 in hand, buys Mark a little bit of time, and Mark will be able to find himself moving towards the compound and a little bit more of extra cover, and manages to hit down Daymoon as well. Car 98 on fire, and Bloody Heads, they are the first ones to draw blood.
Just like that, we're going to be looking at a good amount of teams that's already been taken down, or rather team members that has been taken down. But fortunately, all teams are still alive and still kicking. It is really just dependent on how much they are able to revive their friends. As you can see, Hunt to Get has managed to get 1% back into the game, so it's not too big of a deal at this moment in time. As now, it does seem like Tactical Intex, they are going to be taking a couple of pot shots over to the side of Axis while things are starting to get, and maybe will be getting messy in the central area because there's so many human traffic in here. In the meantime, Todak taking a fight down on the script shots. Oh! Apparently going to be the last member remaining onto their side. Just going to be charging out a Charge Buster. I don't think that he will be going down just yet. Maybe bring 1% down before he does. Unfortunately, juked right out by Chill. He took no effort to just walk right past the opponents and just be like, hey, I'm just right next to you here. Or maybe not. I'm here.
The reason why Baron lost out on that gunfight was because of the Charge Buster. It takes a lot of mechanical composure to be able to get those perfect shots. And unfortunately for Baron, he ended up charging that a little bit too long and didn't let go of that trigger in time. And he got sprayed down. A little unfortunate, but hopefully they find themselves a little bit of luck later on. Carloy knocking down Forbits now. And the fight between Bloody Heads and Vaytay Esports will go ahead to continue. Bloody Heads, what a performance so far. But yet another player hasn't gotten taken down. Let's go. He's straight away way too far away from the rest of the players from Vaytay Esports. Wouldn't be able to give them cover, but is in the perfect position now to bring them right back into play. And I believe there is one vending machine here that he is going out in search for. If he does get to it, he should be able to see at least 1 or 2 players on the side of Vaytay Esports jump right back. And on that note, Daymoon says hello to us. Vaytay Esports now, 2 players on their side, need to get to a revival point.
Well, for now, they are just going to be playing things slow until that he have enough money to buy his fellow friends back. It kind of seems as though he was pretty close to a vending machine, but he did not buy his friend back. So that is the only reason why that hasn't happened is just he doesn't have enough money. So he gonna have to loot around the area. We're looking at the second circle that is gradually shrinking. And that is the only moment in time where Vaytay Esports needs to start moving. Because now the circle will start to hurt. Like really start to hurt. But it kind of seems as though Daymoon is back into the game. As you can see, just popping himself in the center of Refinery. I can't exactly see the fact that Daemoon was alive until it actually appeared on the screen, but hey, it is what it is. So 2 members from Veda Esports is still in the game, and they can definitely make a comeback here. The next circle is, after all, going to be pretty darn scary because Refinery is still within of the ring. So anything that could happen here is the verticality gameplay. All of these teams needs to know that the grappling hook is of utmost importance if they do want to get down from the top of Refinery or to get up to the top of Refinery.
Well, Orange Esports full on here with their squad, 4 men running straight towards the players of Hard to Get. Good to see them jump right back into the fray after taking quite a poor engagement against the players of Script Shots when we first started off this round. Players of Bloody Heads just healing themselves up with the treatment pistol, and hopefully they don't get taken out by the players of Do Easy, who have spotted them. They've got the bird's eye view, vantage point, forcing the players of forcing the players of Bloody Heads now to use up their glue walls. Not the best of plays from Bloody Heads, but they don't really have much of a compound to work with. They have to move on in to make sure Do Easy does not have the angles on them. But of course, on the other side, Hard to Get taken on the players of Orange Esports. 1 casualty on the side of Hard to Get. Insane down on the ground. Nobody there to save him just yet. Time turner, timely one by Jay-Z, and the Charge Buster will be able to find Orange Esports. And Jay-Z, if he was not there, Insane would have gotten taken down, but all he could do was just delay the process, and at the very end, that chaos allowed them to shut down their opponents. But the fight will continue between Do Easy as well as Bloody Heads. Bloody Heads, they do not have much of a compound, but they have quite a number of glue walls here to work with, Abstract.
I'm kind of surprised that the fact that Bloody Heads, they're not exactly out of the game just yet. It kind of seems as though they were in a really bad spot, considering the fact that Do Easy were just gatekeeping the hell out of them. They still have quite a lot of these glue walls to work around with, and oh, Spade, is he really gonna make the play? I mean, he does have a grenade launcher, but I'm not even sure whether it will be far enough to eventually get that shot, though. Hard to Get. Ares manages to clinch himself with a single kill. Do Easy isn't even making their move into the circle just yet. Very surprising, but this just showed the determination in flushing out Bloody Heads. They're not going to be stopping anytime soon. They're just going to be making full use of this vantage point to do whatever they want. Do Easy, they even found the members coming from the side of Icon, I believe. And this is just bad because Icon, they are just right smack in the center of EWG as well as Do Easy.
And both of them taking those pot shots against them, and the players of Bloody Heads were able to trade right back against Do Easy, knocking Bayat, their sniper, down onto the ground. And that engagement will force the players of Do Easy to instead focus on Icon, who seem to be a easier target. Eastern Wolfsgang down on the ground as well. Jumpal not letting go of Shanks. Shanks now being fresh blue zone as well. Doesn't have much of room to run away, and he gets sprayed down onto the ground. Unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. With the plasma gun in his hands, it is way too easy on the side of Jambal to continue all of this pressure onto every single other player, and Do Easy as usual play their bird's eye view to perfection. One more player on the side of Hard to Get, alive and kicking Jay-Z, but now the blue zone will pressure him as well, and Hard to Get, they lose both their players and get eliminated. Do Easy, the masters of pressure down here at Kalahari, playing Refinery to perfection.
This is why playing in Kalahari is so difficult. If you don't plan your routes properly, you will be the victim of anyone who has the higher ground. And in this case, you have pretty much seen Hard to Get being unable to get themselves out of the situation. It kind of seems as though Hard to Get actually saved the Bloody Heads to a certain extent. Because, okay, it delayed their inevitable doom, though. But at least they did not fall short at 10th place. They fall short at 9th place. So 1 point, I'll take that any day. But currently, we're going to be looking at a new circle that's going to be popping off in the southwestern part. And this is actually very favorable to Eastern Wolfsgang. And they would definitely want to take their time to slowly make their way in. Oh!
Do Easy dropping by, and Eastern Wolfgang, just as you said, they are in a great position. Do Easy drop by to say hello and make it the worst position for them to hold on to. Eastern Wolfgang, they disengage. They move on towards the west, but unfortunately for them, they will only come across the players of Toda. Eastern Wolfgang now caught in between two very powerful teams, and Icon will go ahead to distract the players of Do Easy, whilst the Eastern Wolfgang can now focus on this fight against the players of Toda. What a way for this final circle to break down. 8 more teams left alive and kicking, and look at this tactical index, they are still alive.
Technical index! Yo, what's going on with those guys? Apparently they're gonna be in the center of this current circle, and they are really happy about it. At the top of the rock formation, they did manage to put themselves in a really good spot. Are they gonna be making full use of this spot? Well, maybe so, or maybe not. Because Manchai did manage to bring down a single member from the side of Rwanda, and Kaizen himself, he's going to be taken down as well. So a lot of things is going to be happening right here. EWG constantly being pressured down by Todak. They are pretty close to the next circle though, so I'm just gonna be looking out for who's gonna be the king of this hill.
And Tactical Intex just chipping on in with all of those shots, but Do Easy will force them to back away behind their glue walls once again. Tactical Intex not giving up. Axis Esports this time will be their target. Glue wall after glue wall. Those are the mazes that are being set up in front of Tactical Intex. So look at Shooks wasting his grenade launcher. He shouldn't be pulling it out so early. Could have caught the players of Axis Esports off guard, but instead will go ahead to waste 2, make that 3.
Oh!
The third one does not go down. Neptune, while he survived, pulls out yet another glue wall, but a double! of Axis Esports. Vete Esports gets taken out of the equation as well. Eastern Wolfgang, final player, Manchai, will he go down? Still stays alive, knocks down Spade, and the Eastern Wolfgang now have stirred the hornet's nest. Do Easy, they will be hunting down for him. Manchai with so little HP left on himself. Will he be able to recover as he tries to travel on through to the next circle? Crazy stuff, but Eastern Wolfgang get taken out in the 4th spot.
Tactical Intact, they're still at the top of the foundation. In the meantime, Todak is just going to be resting themselves at the bottom. Do Easy to have decided to join the party right opposite of Todak. So now it is all about the fight between Do Easy versus Todak. They were on a 3 versus 4. Make that 2 versus 3 right now. We have Ames coming in from behind. Oh, snap! Shook came in! He stole the kill on the 2-back. He also brought Jetball down. And Do Easy is just going to be sandwiched out by Tactical Intact, who had decided to come to the ground level, and they are stealing all of the kills from the side of Todak, and even gonna be killing Todak themselves. But he's gonna be the last man remaining, and Todak waited for the perfect time to come right in and steal the booyah right off of Tactical Intact.
Now, Tactical Intex, although that was a good wipeout of Axis Esports, they should have kept the mother load of those grenade launches for Toda in that final circle. Would they have been able to get to the final circle without taking on Axis Esports? The answer is an absolute yes, because they had the advantageous position. But unfortunately, because of the decision making, they weren't able to play their fullest power in that final battle against Toda. And when that is the situation, you can most definitely expect the Kings of Malaysia to soar all the way through. But that being said, what a play, what a game out of Tactical Intex this time round. Shook most definitely making a name for himself with the grenade launcher.
I'm really surprised with how resilient he was with his grenade launcher. I was thinking the same thing as AJ. Like, why are you using grenade launcher from so far away? Why are you trying your shot? In the end, he's adjusted himself. He's waited for he didn't exactly wait, but he really volleyed that grenade launcher time and time again. The opponents, well, they just didn't quite learn from it. They thought that they thought that Shook is just gonna keep missing it time and time again. But when Shook really needed it the most, he have bombed out 2 members with a single grenade launcher, and that was when the opponent's side was completely backed against the wall. And I gotta have to say, Tactical Intact, they impressed me. Even for the final fight, I thought that it was a pretty good idea for them to go down and just kind of steal the kill, go for the vouchers. It was a pretty good idea. However, it is also because of the fact that they don't have any more ammunition for the grenade launcher. And we are talking about Todak after all. They are a pretty strong team.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely right. Toda, being the strong team that they are, they had the charge busters on their side. Shot could have taken the double barrel straight up to Spark, but it was the amazing movements out of Spark, the mechanical capability to dodge back and forth behind the pillars, and then very quickly change positions with the one and only player left on the side of Tactical Intex, gave Spark the advantageous position, and he took that backstab. Perfect run for the players of Toda. Your thoughts, Natalie?
I think just Todak, at the end of the day, they were just the better team. The more skillful, they knew their limits. Whereas I think Tactical Index is just, they make questionable moves and Axis as well. I think at the end of the day, these teams, they just didn't have the same level of confidence as Todak. So let's switch the roles, right? If it was Todak in their positions, I think Todak would have been able to get the booyah regardless.
Oh yeah.
We're looking at the better team, right? So as much as we could fault Axis and ITX for some of the moves that they made, it's Todak.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so
You're absolutely
it's small,
right. Yeah.
small things. We can't blame the teams, but firstly, if anything, I gotta say congratulations to Tactical Intex, right? Firstly, they're at the bottom of the bracket. I hate to say this, they've got no chance of making it the top 12, but they're still able to put up such a good fight. So it just goes to show that this team, they're not at the bottom of the bracket because, as some people would say, they're bad. It's that the competition is just so stiff. So Tactical Intex, I'm hoping to see this team again in the future. Hopefully they're going to be able to make it to next season. I think we are. They do have the players and the skills to be able to make it through. Whereas for Axis, I think this is a team that we also need to look out for. Like we can't disregard these bottom bracket teams. But let's take a look at the standings really quickly to see where everyone is currently in terms of points, because we know for Axis their points are very important. So firstly, for Todak, Booyah, 21 points. I mean, this team's already guaranteed top 12. This is not really a big issue for Todak, but this might... Hang on, let me take a look at my picture I have here, because Todak are currently in 5th place. Now, can they catch up to Hard to Get? They actually can. So before this match started, so 50?
Or needed 50. Yeah, needed 50.
Make that 29 now.
Oh, sorry.
Wait,
Toda too hard to get, right? My apologies. 28
I was like,
points.
Yeah, so it's reached, it's definitely doable, especially with Hard to Get only getting 6 points that round. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if they are actually able to catch up. Do Easy 16, I think we saw from yesterday that the chances of Do Easy being able to catch up to Geek Fam, Blacklist, very slim. I think for them, they just want to maintain top 4. So not really much to say for them. Tactical Intex with 16 points, that's not too bad. But Overdose, Axis, these two really need points because they are at the bottom of the bracket. Axis, not as much as Overdose. Actually, no, but technically both of these teams need the points. Okay, what am I saying? Never mind. Let's just continue on to player data here. Of course, we've got Jambal here grabbing the MVP for the round on the side of Do Easy with 4 kills to his name. But again, we also have Shiux from ITX actually snapping up that 2nd place, who also has 14 kills to his name. Then on the side of Todak, we've got Spark and Chill, both of these players picking up 3 kills apiece. But gentlemen, we've already had our round 1. We've had some of these teams pick up points, right? Some pretty important teams. We've got Axis has picked up a couple points. Overdose also needed to pick up those points. So they're creeping forward, but it's not solid. Like, how many points would you say would be a solid round for one of these bottom of the leaderboard teams to sort of be safe? Because Axis and Overdose, they're currently 11th and 10th, which is not 12th, right? They're not in Icon's position where it's critical. But they still need points to stay up there.
Yeah, they most definitely do. 10 points at a minimum from each and every single round. That's safe. I mean, anything below that is already in danger zone because we've been able to see teams like Ego Oblivions, AKO Ligas hit those booyahs as well. And Umbrella Reborn, they've shown us they've got the exact same capability, right? AKO Ligas might not be as big of a threat, but Ego Oblivions as well as Umbrella Reborn, they most definitely are.
How about you, Abstract? Are you thinking 10 as well, or?
I have the same idea as AJ, but I'm not really looking at consistency because I think that is pretty easy to for all of us, including the players, to agree that consistency is not exactly something that every single team in the bottom half of the leaderboards is able to do. And and that's why they're in the bottom half, right? So maybe perhaps just look for 1 or 2 good games. Maybe just get yourself a single 20 bomb, and just from a single 20 bomb should be able to get yourself higher up on the leaderboard, and from that point on, crawl in slowly but surely, because that single booyah is going to help your team to eliminate so many other teams from advancing in a consistent manner. So that is what I'm looking at.
Now I'm going to ask the godforsaken question that I know both of you hate me asking every time, but this is going to be our second game of the day, final game for A versus B. Who are you putting your money on for this game to get the booyah?
This one's a tough one. I think this. How do I pick? You're putting me in the spot. I mean, this is A versus
That's my
B.
job.
Okay. Toda for a back-to-back.
Wow, okay.
Wow.
Wait,
Okay,
Abstract,
okay.
who's getting your demon dust this round?
Honestly, to be very honest, I have a feeling that Hard to Get might be able to do something about this game.
Ooh, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we'll have to see. It's game 2 for today of Group A versus B. We'll have to see what happens on Purgatory as, of course, our wonderful casters will be taking over for this game. AJ and Abstract, take it away.
Thank you very much, Danley. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this time around, the flight path will be quite generous to all of the players, cutting between the quarry as well as Mount Willa all the way towards Ski Lodge, opening up the full map for any of those positions that these teams would like to assemble themselves in the early part of the game. Toda will be jumping on straight to take the fight up against Script Shots. That's most definitely going to be an interesting play to watch. Players of Overdose, they're going to be quite comfortable in the lower end of Brasilia, whilst the players of Hard to Get are right above. Hopefully that doesn't turn out to be too much of a crazy situation there. But first, let's take a look on whether or not Toda will survive this. And Script Shots, once again, they deliver those led through the chest of the players of Toda to punish them, to tell them that even though we sit down at the bottom, we are not to be underestimated. Script Shots now, the beta down onto the ground. They lose X-Lance as well. It's a 2v2. Chill as well as Pedro. Chill now on the ground. 2v1. Pedro, final guy. MVP, UMP turns around, shying down on the ground. And it's going to be Parents, the one and only. But he has got nothing on him that will be able to take Pedro out of the equation. UMP more than enough to take this guy. But he does take the better decision. Picks up X-Lance. 2v1 now. Pedro turns around. UMP catches both of them. Oh! Down. Toda. Demon Dust. Learn the tough lesson early.
Demon Dust! AJ, guys, look at AJ. He's the one today, boy!
The one time I get it wrong, you get this excited. That says a lot, Abstract.
hey, you know, sometimes it's great to be able to lift off that weight.
I know.
This probably means that
You live it up,
my
man. You live it
prediction
up.
will come up to. I mean, Hard to Get. Okay, let's put this here.
Yeah.
Let's put this here first.
Yeah.
Hard to Get is the one that I think that is gonna win.
Yeah.
They have managed to get themselves a single kill, and they are gonna be at the northern side of Brasilia.
Yep.
Just right off the bat, they are in a very good position. I don't want to talk too much about Hard to Get because they won the star in the previous round. Oh, sorry, they won the star in the previous team fight.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Script Shots, the one that took down Todak. Now, AJ, you're the one commentating throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
What did you derive from that fight? Why did Todak lose to Script Shot?
Okay, first of all, it was the fact that they took that 50-50 chance once again, and the gods of RNG just were not on their side, right? But what caused the players of Script Shots to win the fight at the very end of the day was the decision-making that came through from Xlan on whether or not he would like to drop back, pick up his team member, or does he want to take a 1v1 chance against the player of Toda? And it was Pedro, man. This guy is the MVP of the Toda squad, and it was just better decision-making coming through from Script Shots. They knew that the numbers game should be able to win, and they took exactly that. Overdose against Hard to Get on the other hand. For your sake, Abstract, I'm gonna hope that Hard to Get gets to the final circle and wins this. Maybe it can double or even triple that happiness out of you.
I would love to see Hard to Get eventually win this fight against Overdose. At this point in time, Dada is the one that has been knocked down. The members from Hard to Get, one of them is knocked down, and that is gonna be insane. Ares took a precautionary glue wall pop it right in front of him, and that was a pretty good one because he did manage to stop one of the members from releasing the charge blaster. But speaking of charge blaster, take a look at Ravy. He was trying to get himself right out of it. He turned it around. He managed to bring one down.
Oh, no.
He's getting shot. He's shot.
Oh God, I'm dying right now. I'm dying. Natalie, we need you back, Natalie. Wow, my lord. No abstract. My condolences, sir.
No, AJ, my condolences as well.
Oh goodness me. Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Danley is the one that put us in the at the spot, man. We should be the one blaming Danley right now.
Hey, it's all good, man. I mean, what a fight taken up by Overdose. They desperately needed points, and hard to get. They were in quite a good position, but Overdose, they outplayed them, man. That charge buster play coming out of the play of Overdose. I totally forgot exactly who that was. Let me just see if I can recall who it was.
Razy.
Yeah, Razy. Razy with the turnaround around those glue walls. Time turner was a problem for him to handle as well, but it was the maneuvering around those glue walls and very timely shots out of him that got him that final battle. It was just absolutely insane to watch Hard to get taken down in that manner.
Okay, but unfortunately, we're going to be looking at yet another fight that's just going to be erupting right here, as Axis Esports is just going to be putting themselves in a fight against Bayday Esports. All of the members from Axis is just around the area. However, from the side of Bayday Esports, only Let's Go is right knocking on the doors of Axis Esports. Definitely not a good spot to be at, but somehow, I have a feeling that Let's Go should be able to get himself right out of this, get right out of dodge. It kind of seems as though that Spade, he was around the corner, and it kind of seems as though he has also made his presence known. Icon is around the area within the fields as well.
Wow.
One picks one off onto McRory. This is just a crazy funfair. Everyone is getting a shot at someone, and we don't even know who's going to be the one that's really.
Too good. You thought you abstract. You said it was a fun fair. Everybody was getting a shot at someone, but that someone unfortunately was just Waiting Esports. Everybody just focused on taking down Waiting Esports. They don't know who that is. They were just sitting ducks in the middle of Waiting Esports. Axis, Icon, everybody. They just took shots after shots after shots, and now 3 titans of this particular grouping have gotten taken out. Waiting Esports out of the list. Hard to get out of the list. Stoda, they've checked out back to the lobby already, and now it could just be the time for the underdogs, or even Do Easy to step right back up now, Abstract.
This is very likely a underdog's game, man. I mean, I can definitely see that Do Easy have a possibility in winning all of this. Look at them. They're just going to be taking a couple of hot shots over to Icon. The two of them taking a pretty good fight. But you know what? This fight is actually going to be pretty beneficial to Do Easy unless Do Easy wins this fight and they go straight to where Icon is. Because what we see on the map just now is the fact that Bloody Heads is right opposite of Icon. And if Bloody Heads realizes that they want to join in the fun, they want to go and voucher, then Icon, they're the one that's going to have a really bad time. In fact, if we look at the map as well, I mean, you can't see the map, but let me just tell you this. Icon is literally in the middle of this triangle of Do Easy, Axis Esports, and Bloody Heads. So whatever happens here, if Icon wants to run away to the northern side, north, south, east, west, wherever they go, they are gonna meet someone. And speaking of meeting someone, we're gonna be looking and hearing the fact that Overdose is going to be getting shot at by Axis Esports, with Dadat being knocked right down. Pin definitely wants to bring him back onto the game.
Yeah, good nade out of 2-pass GG. Blue wall down on the ground, and Neptune secures the kill for the side of Axis Esports. Overdose have not gotten taken out of the equation just yet. We do have still in the mix a Revzi as well as Achap, who zoom away as quickly as they can. And this is the understanding between the two. Get to the revival point and bring those players right back in. Dadat will be brought and together with Pin as well. And Overdose Esports, they recover as if nothing happened at all. And now the blue zone closing in on everyone as the players try to reposition themselves. Now, just to highlight, Do Easy were in such an advantageous position earlier on, taking all of those fights just from the elevation of that hill. Worst case scenario, all of them were grouped up together. What they could do is, of course, pull up those glue walls and recover each other as they continue hyper-focusing on shutting down players. I just absolutely love that out of Do Easy, always taking a gunfight when they know the probability of them winning is super high.
They are the risk takers as well, but they also calculate their risks. All of the shots that they take, or rather most of the shots that they take, they always take into account as to where they are, if whether they hear any fights around the place, and they're just going to be taking the shots. If they did manage to take a couple of pot shots over to the opponents and get them knocked down, then the chances of them marching right in is going to be really high. But if they keep on throwing pot shots at one another, each other, they are very likely just going to be moving out because they understand that they have been overstaying their welcome. They have been making too much sound, and all of that crackling of the guns is just going to be echoing throughout the horizon. Everyone is going to hear it, and everyone, or maybe someone, is going to come in third party, and that is one thing that Do Easy definitely do not want to have. But speaking of Do Easy once again, now they're going to be finding a couple of shots down onto Eastern Wolves gang. They did manage to get one person knocked down. However, they are on a high ground. There's no reason for them to actually jump right down and try to deal with this team right down here. So all they're going to do is just take a couple of shots. Just shoot the heck out of Eastern Wolves gang. Although I have no idea what are they trying to accomplish. But hey, racking up a couple of damage scores can be pretty good as well.
Yeah, it was good positioning out of Eastern Wolves gang as well to choose to not engage with Do Easy, but of course just find themselves a little bit more cover and recover their players. And that, of course, is the better decision. No point taking the fight up against Do Easy when you know the position that they have got most definitely gives them the advantage over you. Headshots are all out in the open, and Eastern Wolves gang playing the better decision to their advantage. They just have to stay put and wait to see exactly where the next circle will go ahead to drag them. But at the very same time, they have to keep an eye on top of the hill. Why? Because you never know exactly when Do Easy will come down and start knocking down on your doors. Bloody Heads now just playing the game of a lot of risk here as they circle around the edge of the circle one by one, taking down the players of Tactical Index out in the open. Not many of those glue walls have been brought up just yet. They are keeping it in store. Riptide Rhythm takes down one glue wall, and they won't be able to secure that kill out of Morgana as well. That is communication at its finest on the side of Bloody Head, and Tactical Index, they are the victims of that great play. Rawana will just play the game of survival, but Mark, with just 2 more shots out of that AC-80, can he set that vehicle ablaze? He does, but to take down that player requires more than that, and unfortunately for them, Tactical Index get lucky.
And at this point in time, it kind of seems like Overdose, or rather Bloody Heads, is getting a little bit too close for comfort when it comes down to dealing with Overdose. The members from Overdose are just going to be running themselves right into the face of Bloody Heads. And while all of this is happening, Tactical Index has found themselves taken down, and they are no longer in this round. While Overdose, Dada's HP is going down low. Pin has found himself knocked down by Monk, and as you have said, the AC-80 is just going to be doing them a magnificent job. Bloody Heads now is going to be taking a frontline fight against the members from Icon as well.
What a nade. Does it connect? It does not. Archab shuts down Morgana, taken out of the equation. 3 more players right inside of the flash freeze. The players of Bloody Heads taking so much of risk, shutting down a lot of their HPs in the process as well. But Shanks as well as Mark. It is a 3v2. Mio's going to get picked right back up, putting Bloody Heads at a further disadvantage. One good grenade can solve this problem, but Mark will not be able to play it just yet because of the blue zone. Shanks, on the other hand, Charge Buster just waiting for the opportunity at the window, and he has got absolutely none of those lethals to go ahead and work with. Icon should be able to make quick work of Bloody Heads. They're just waiting for them to make one mistake. One now. Mark pulls out yet another glue wall, making sure one does not take him down. But with this shot now, one more was all that was needed. And unfortunately, still not enough.
The underdog game is now running in. Bloody Hands is the one to be taken down by Icon with a single chuck of a grenade. And Icon have managed to get themselves a total of 6 kills to their name. All of the underdogs here are still alive. And I mean, technically speaking, Do Easy is here as well. I really do hope that one of these underdog win. I don't want to see Do Easy win because, let's be honest, having a narrative on an underdog winning is definitely more exciting, and it definitely shakes up the competition. Speaking of shaking up the competition, Shahid tries to do something over here. He's currently being completely zoned out by the Storm. There's really not much they can do except to get shot down by Cobbs, and he doesn't want to submit to the Storm. The rest of the members coming from the script shots, they're deciding to just run parallel to the bridge, and they do not want to care about Axis Esports. This is the point in time where Axis Esports manages to just land a couple of lead right onto their backs. And the Beta, the last member remaining from the Southern Script Shots, I'm surprised that he manages to, well, survive from all of this.
Well, for the time being, the Beta now being forced to run as well, and will get into yet another engagement against the players of Axis Esports. I was quite surprised that Scriptshots allowed themselves to get taken down way too easy like that, not keeping an eye on players of Axis Esports after they had already lost one player initially. That was just a blunder on the side of Scriptshots, but of course they still have one final player alive and kicking. How long more can he stay alive outside of the zone now? Finally rejoins, but the circle moves towards Axis as well as Scriptshots, so the Beta will be alive for a little bit longer. He will, of course, expand his glue walls. There's just no running away from this. How many kills will he be able to get in the meantime as Icon distracts the players of Axis? In the meantime, Do Easy taking the fight up against the players of Eastern Wolves Gang as well. Icon will be able to find Axis in their crosshairs, and that just means Scriptshots will continue to survive. Eastern Wolves Gang out of the list already, all thanks to the players of Do Easy. Axis with one final player. Will the Beta be able to force them out of this game?
No glue
it will
walls.
just be epic if he can get that sorted out.
Icon, they managed to find themselves a decent amount of kills at the side of Axis Esports, despite the ring pool being so beneficial to Axis Esports. And just like that, Axis Esports has found himself taken down, and Icon have taken over the positioning, and they managed to run away from where Orange Esports were. Now, all of the attention is just going to be put right on top of Orange Esports. Icon knows what they're looking for. Jambul gets himself the grenade down on the dome, but unfortunately, one is the one that managed to get himself the kill and steal it all away. Icon's Mio finds himself slip of health, taken down. It's really unfortunate. 2 versus 3 right now, AJ.
Yeah, Spade shuts down the final play on the side of the Orange Esports, and Do Easy now going in for their booyah. And Icon taken out of the equation. They secure themselves a 22-point booyah to make sure they catch up to the players of Geek Fam in that second spot.
Well, what can I say? Do Easy. Well, this game is all full of underdogs, and they managed to make full use of the fact that they demolished everyone in this lobby. I mean, Do Easy, all of these players doesn't know that the top dogs are gone. But Do Easy, regardless of all that fact, they did whatever that they need to. They see whoever that they want to kill, they went for it. They understood what kind of situation that they are on, what kind of positioning that they are on, and despite being one of the teams that is furthest away to the next circle, they decided that it will be that the time to move into the circle will eventually come. And they did. They moved right on to Icon when Icon have rotated clockwise, put themselves in such a great spot. But Icon, did not gatekeep against Do Easy. And that, I believe, was one of the mistakes that they have done.
Looking back at the highlights from the start of the game, it was quite amazing to see Scriptshots yet again take on a team as powerful as Toda and shut them down quite easily at the early stages of the game. And it's just still surprising, ever so surprising, as to why Toda has not learned their lesson just yet. They cannot continue to prey on the players of Scriptshots because they've been taught a tough lesson one too many times, but they still want to force that issue, be it the ego gameplay or them just thinking that Scriptshots is an easy meal. Hopefully this encounter changes their minds. Do Easy, they maintained their great position all throughout this round, and it was fantastic to see because each and every single engagement, once again, that they got on into it, they were absolutely sure that they're going to be able to walk away the victors. If it was not a sure position, they just disengage and they wait for their opponents to close the distance and then fire up under all of their barrels. It's just absolute positioning supremacy out of Do Easy. But on that note, of course, let's position Danley right back between Abstract and 9.
You mean the curse? Position me between the curse, which is you two today, apparently.
Hey, it was one
It's
bad
not just
prediction.
Abstract.
It was one bad prediction. And look,
Embrace
Toda
it.
deserved that, okay? Toda deserved everything that was coming towards them because they just do not learn their lesson. I mean, if I was the coach, I would be like, why? Why are we doing this again? We don't need desperate points. We can most definitely drop in a different position. We can walk away from this game victorious. And yet we choose to hot drop a team right beside Fire Brigade because Toda is very used to moving towards Fire Brigade. They have the respect for Geek Fam that they did not have for Script Shots. And when you do not respect Script Shots, I guess you pay the price.
I mean, was there... I'm just trying to think of the benefits. Like, is there a benefit to dropping on top of Script Shots at all?
Yes. Script Shots technically, I mean, if Script Shots was like any other team, the benefit is the fact that, you know, they would be super, you know, unmotivated or undermotivated in the competition and they wouldn't be able to fight back as well. Yeah, not Script Shots.
Stop. I mean, yeah, when it comes down to advantages is that if you win, you starve them of points. And that means that, I mean, it makes sense if you are directly below of Script Shots. And you know that, okay, I have the mechanics. I feel that I can win the Script Shots. We're going to hot drop on them so that they get 0 for this game and we can get at least 1. That is an advantage that we get. And we keep doing this, we will eventually overtake them. But Todak, they're above. I don't see why I don't understand why they're doing this. But AJ, if you think that Todak's gonna stop, oh boy, I have some bad news for you.
That was their last chance to hot drop them in that map, man. So obviously they're not gonna do it again.
They are gonna do it again. They are.
Somehow they're gonna do it after the broadcast. I'll just be like, hey, do you want to scrim together?
I mean, Todak and Script Shots, they are in the same group, aren't they?
Yeah, yes, they are. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
so they'll do it again.
Fair enough. I hope they don't, and I feel like they won't because it's just one too many times that Script Shots has shown it's not really a 50-50 at this point, is it? It's more of a 75 to 25, and 25 are going to the players of Toda. So if they go ahead to continue, that 75 is probably going to go up to 80 or 85, and I don't really think Toda would like the percentage. Oh, wait. Wait.
No, they're not doing this.
I thought we weren't going to be doing this.
We were doing this.
I thought we were not doing this production.
Oh gosh. All right. I was really keen to see what the overall standing was going to be because it was literally a really close race between Icon, Overdose, and Axis. It's really close between those three teams.
I mean, it's one thing that we were expecting it, and we'll be like, yeah, this is what it is. But it's another thing if production tells us, yeah, we're not gonna do this anymore, and then boom, we're doing this.
Okay, hang on. So, I mean, there's one thing we can say for certain, and it's that 8th and 9th place is more or less guaranteed. Maybe Overdose is going to take over Orange Esports, but the possibility of that happening, it's kind of and then maybe E-Wolves. Like, those 3 teams are going to shuffle, but they're not going to drop out of top 12, right? So...
I think Overdose already overtook Orange Esports because based on their performance, they were very close, way too close earlier on. So, but of course, not too many points at all for them to, you know, be shouting hurrah about just yet.
Yeah. So I guess at this rate, the only way we could be certain with some of the placements is that 11 and 12 are just going to have to be the open ones. Yeah, it's free game from 11 until 15. But before we jump into our next series, folks, just very quickly, our player data from the match that we've just had run. We've got Neptune from Axis actually snapping up the MVP up the round, able to get 6 kills to his name with 2,300 damage. But as you can see, the rest of the players, almost a full Do Easy match, folks. Almost. So close, yet so far. Neptune had to ruin some dreams here. But we're going to say goodbye firstly to teams in Group A because
Yes.
they are going to sit on the sidelines because it's B versus C. You know what happens in B versus C? Blacklist and Geek Fam are coming to play. Of course, the rest of the teams in C, they're also coming to play. You know, we're not going to forget about those
Sometimes
teams
they
as
sit
well.
and watch.
Sometimes they sit on. It depends, right? It's like Geek Fam, they take turns, right? It's like it's either Geek Fam and Blacklist are the ones sort of just spectate the game, and then Swapperoo, it's the rest of the lobby.
Yeah.
That's just sort of sitting there watching the game. It's like, all right, guys, who's gonna win now? Place your bets.
Well, let's see if or not Umbrella Reborn will be able to strike back because Icon has done enough. In the first game, they bombed out. Second game, 18 points, not too shabby at all, right, for a team like Icon. And I mean no disrespect, but, you know, they haven't really been the best squad within the league stage. But now they are, roughly about 20, 30 points away from Umbrella Reborn. So there's a lot of hustle involved here if Umbrella Reborn wants to catch up. And they've got 2 rounds to get that done before Icon jumps in for a match with them as well.
Yeah, and also speaking of jumping in, just a quick reminder, I'm going to jump in with this announcement here. We have a giveaway happening later on today. We're going to be announcing a code that you can claim, and if you claim that code, you will get 2 Fiery M1014 boxes. So make sure you're there to claim the code and also share it with your friends and family because these codes are not quantity limited, they are time limited. So everyone can claim it, but it will expire at the end of the day. So there's no downside to sharing this code. Make sure everyone gets it because free stuff. Thank you for Garino for making this happen because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have anything to give away. So make sure you claim that code later on. I don't care if you have the stream on your television, you know, just somewhere. Have us on your screen. You know what's also going to happen on our screen very soon though. It's B versus C. I'm going to try and break the curse here because I know Abstract is 100% cursed. I think AJ, I think you maybe used a little bit too much of your pixie dust yesterday, but let's do our predictions early before the games happen because we've typically done it right.
Ma'am, I've got a request, ma'am. No predictions, ma'am. How about we do a wish list? Which
You want to
team?
do a wish list?
Yeah, which team do you guys wish picks up the booyah after this, just to make, you know, the league stage a little bit more enticing before we close off the final day? Which team do you wish that upon, Abstract?
So that.
I love how you ask Abstract first. You didn't offer to go first.
Okay, he took Toda this time, right? Maybe he's reversed it out already. I cursed them earlier on. Danny, you've got a wish list for us? A wish booyah winner?
For this round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I mean, I could just
Too
go with the
stressed, man.
favorites. Nah, I think I'm just gonna have to go with favorites. I mean, Blacklist, they did well yesterday. I think they're gonna do the same today. I think it's Blacklist.
Okay. I'm hoping, this is my wish. My wish is to see 2 teams in the final circle.
Oh, look at this cheater. What is this?
No. I want to see 2
Go
teams
on,
in the
go
final
on,
circle. They might not be the teams that pick up the booyah, but I really want to see Umbrella Reborn as well as Ego Oblivions playing the game of survival all the way down to the end, just so that we can see the best out of Axis Esports as well as Icon
Alright.
later on.
All right, cough it up, Abstract. Come on, chop chop. Who's getting cursed next?
I think the one that's gonna get a booyah is gonna be Umbrella Reborn.
Oh god. I'm sorry, AJ. Umbrella, break the curse, please.
Yeah, I think Umbrella's capable of doing exactly that, right? But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we hop on back into Kalahari, we are going to be dropping off the one and only Danley to parachute in to her home first before we hop on back to the other players in here to see exactly which sort of a compound they are going to go in and control for themselves as the flight path cuts through from Santa Catarina all the way down between the maze as well as Mammoth. It doesn't really open up shrines as well as Old Hampton, but you sure as heck can bet some of the teams will be dropping on into its foundation and trying to circle around to Old Hampton as well, or potentially shrines, just to make sure they can loot out that full area. Bayfront, as usual, will be picked up by the players of Blacklist International, and Vete Esports, as expected, will be able to, I guess, warm drop the players of Geek Fam at Stone Ridge. But early engagements coming out of the players of Orange Esports against AKO. Let's hope Orange Esports will be able to do well because they've already got 1 takedown onto Cheers. It's a 4v3 from the early get-go here, Abstract.
It does seem like Jaboy was going to be finding himself with just a sliver of health. Goku popped off with that time turner. Unfortunately, the time turner now is no longer one-way time turner, but it's two-way. So when you pop it off, you can't even shoot your opponents even when you are inside of the time turner. It's a very late update. Yes, it has happened for quite some time now, but it kind of seems as though a couple of teams still like to shoot while being inside of the time turner. Now, Jaboywa gets outplayed by Decos. We're talking about Decos after all. His HP is all the way down to his liver. He's trying to go for a couple of science attacks onto Decos. And Toby, he's gonna be the one that managed to successfully take one down onto the side of Orange Esports and auto knockout with a total of 2 kills to their name. They are looking out for the next few members from the side of Orange Esports. They must be really sad over the fact that they lost a lot of their members in the early stages of the game in the previous round, and now they already have half of their team taken out.
Without Toby QTs earlier on, I'm pretty sure we would see a 2v2 at this moment. Jaboywa taken down onto the ground by Goku, making it an actual 2v2, wherein, as a matter of fact, a Orange Esports could have been in front already if it was not for that reposition by Toby QTs to provide the suppressive fire. And in fact, when the player out of AKO, Jaboywa, if I'm not mistaken, pulled out the sight, it could have even been Seiya. He could have gotten sprayed down if it was not for Toby QTs. But now with all of the reposition happening here, Goku falls to his death. He will not get taken out of the equation just yet, but Toby QTs makes sure he jumps on forth and gets that sorted out. Tom will be able to disengage, but with the G36 as well as its accuracy with that long range shots, he needs to be careful. D-Tom, we will see if or not he survives later on. Script Shots, on the other hand, they take on Vete Esports from across this body of water. Riptide Rhythm comes through and Shahid gets taken out of the equation. Let's Go traded out by the beta, but no kill coming through just yet, and nobody to go ahead and save Let's Go. 2 glue walls to work with, and Let's Go potentially might get sacrificed here whilst the players of Script Shots fight back.
I'm surprised that the members from Script Shots, they are taking the time and they are trying to bait out the members from Beta Esports to go ahead and save Let's Go. The way that Script Shots is playing, it kind of seems as though they are here to go big or go home. They do not want to execute Let's Go at that point in time. They do not see the value in that 1 point. And I understand why. They're all the way down in 18th, they're all the way down in the bottom part of the leaderboards, and in fact, probably 17th place, but, or maybe 16th place, never mind. But they do not see the value of that 1 point. They would want to make their presence known. If they bring one person down, they might as well take that one, use that one person, bait everyone else out, and bring one entire team out of the equation. In the meantime, it is going to be Todak that is going to be starting a fight down against the members from the side of Umbrella Report. Is Umbrella Report really going to be fighting themselves in a really bad spot? No! Gas finds himself too! He managed to bring the Hydro, but Spark comes in. M16, he managed to bring one person down, but Gas from the other side. AC80 brings Spark down. We do have a massive amount of members from the side of the Umbrella Report as well. Todak is going to be taken down. He's just going to be left for 1 versus 1, but never mind. One of the members from the Umbrella Report is coming! Todak!
Oh my lord, I was so nervous, man. Not for Umbrella Reborn. I just didn't want to curse them. I was like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. But the one and only Cass gets the quadra kill and slays the whole of Toda with his supreme positioning, with his supreme decision-making skills as well. Knew that he had to pick up a team member, knew that he had to play the game of numbers against Toda, and he stepped on up immediately after picking up his team member who was already low in HP, who could not take that engagement. He himself steps on up to shut down the players of Toda. One final takedown, and that's about it. Umbrella Reborn keeping their hopes of making it through to the top 12 still alive in here. Script Shot still alive against the players of Vete Esports. This is an impressive feat, but McRory makes one small mistake, gets sprayed down onto the ground. 4bits will try to suppress all of the players of Script Shots in the meantime to make sure McRory doesn't get taken out of the equation, and a very quick movement out of the players of Vete Esports will ensure McRory gets picked right back up to continue this battle of 4v4 against Script Shots. Very bad flash freeze out of Script Shots, and now they themselves will have to reposition. But Vete Esports, on the other hand, with 4bits from afar with the AC80, they are going to be able to maintain their pressure. But in the close quarters combat, Script Shots outnumber Vete Esports.
And now Beta Esports, all 4 members is still alive, and so does Scriptshot. However, it is just going to be defending this house, and sieging tactics is going to be really important. But unfortunately, Beta Esports, they do not have that kind of siege going on. As such, McRory finds himself knocked right down, and it's for the members for the side of Scriptshot, they're still ready and preparing to bring down all of the members from the side of Beta Esports. Who's going to be the one that eventually get themselves right in? Beta, 2 men down, 3 men down, all from the Charge Busters, all from the Beta. Scriptshot, they are quite the bomb here, as they managed to bring yet another team down, or rather, they managed to bring Beta down. That is a big win.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. For a team like Scriptshots, who have been struggling all throughout the competition, to be successful in shutting down a team as ferocious as Vete Esports, it's something that they can be proud of. But of course, it's not an information they will be able to get now. There is a delay on stream. I'm pretty sure their coach will be sending that information to them in a little bit. Hopefully, they are going to survive long enough to get that information to hype themselves up even further as they continue this battle towards the final zone. Kaz, as he remains alive. Exact from the side of GeekFab might be able to take him out of the equation. One more shot coming through. AWM does not get the final shot. And Kaz, he remains alive and kicking as he zooms around his motorcycle. Will he be able to save himself? It does not look like it is gonna be an impossible situation, as Exec has problems climbing up the foot of that hill, and Kaz backs away in the nick of time, whereas the rest of the players are very far away from him.
I just want to take a moment to digress, because it just hit me. The fact that Todak got 12th place. But okay, never mind. I don't even have time to digress, because apparently the members from the side of Ego Oblivions, they're going to be taking a fight up against whom are they fighting? Umbrella Reborn?
Oh, come on.
It kind of seems as though Umbrella Reborn has won the fight already. The members from Ego Oblivions have managed to successfully run away, at least for now. And Umbrella Reborn, they have a total of 6 kills to their name. Now that is amazing. The fact that Umbrella Reborn as well as Oblivion managed to, well, stop a fight, technically speaking, would be, it does seem like it would be possible to see your wish list happening. But my wish list is not happening.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's okay. We are all used to it by now. I'm playing with the abstract. But Blacklist, as they try to circle around the circumference of the next circle, they don't really have to be all that too worried, but they head on straight for a buy point. And when they get to that vending machine, they should be able to make sure all of their players are fully decked out. You can see the level 3 West on Phoenix already. He's one of the prime players on the side of Blacklist International. And when we take a peek at the players of Hard to Get, they seem to be all suited up, ready for the next battle. In terms of the medkits, all glue walls, the players of Hard to Get, they are most definitely ready to take on at least 2 teams back to back, but they cannot start squandering all of the utilities that they've already gone ahead to collect by engaging with Axis Esports from such a far distance. They won't be able to secure all that too much from that, but when they reposition and try to cut the distance down, they should be able to execute that a little bit better. As Scriptshots now aim for yet another big team, they take on Blacklist International.
Oh boy, this is either gonna turn out so well or very bad.
Oh,
Shahid eventually finds himself right behind one of the members from the side of Blacklist International, and Felix is just going to be running right up the stairs, and both of the glue walls just going to be popping right in front of Shahid, and that is going to buy him a lot of time, stopping Shahid right on his tracks. And Shahid, he doesn't know where to go. If he were to go out, he may eventually be pincered by the opponents from the side of Blacklist International. He doesn't have any information. He cannot just carelessly run out and nonchalantly take random shots down onto Blacklist International. Phoenix, he did a really good job to juke out his opponents, and he took all this time to stay back and allow Scriptshots to run away. Blacklist International, they know of the very fact that they have one person down, and they just do not want to get overly aggressive. And Scriptshots, they're not running away. They're just staying around the area to gatekeep.
Yeah, I love it, man. They don't know who they're gatekeeping. They don't care at all. The players of Blacklist International in a lot of trouble now. Phoenix already tanking a lot of damage from the blue zone. And SX Lance will continue scouting the area with his motorcycle. He has got the mobility to engage and disengage, as well as the ability to knock down one of the players of the side of Blacklist International. Now, moving outside of the zone, just teasing the players of Blacklist International. Phoenix taking on 2 players at the same time with the UMP, but gets sprayed down by Barons and his Charge Buster. Script shots, 1 down, 3 to go. They will not be able to find Cobra as he has disengaged and gone way too far back with the AK-47 on top of the hill. The trees now blocking his vision. He's not going to provide sufficient cover for the rest of his team members. The Beta now charging up his Charge Buster. Can he find Lux? Lux backs away. Oh, terrible glue wall. Beta takes that shot. Smart play. And Blacklist International have lost 2 now. One final player on the side of Blacklist, the one and only Cobra. As he runs away, he will be able to stay alive. Smart play coming through from Blacklist International when they knew they were in a pinch.
Both of these teams were playing really well. Script shots, they realized that they don't have a reason to keep staying around the area, especially if they're taking the small little tick of damage from the storm. Unfortunately, now all of the karma is going to be befalling on the members from the side of Script shots, because the Beta now has found himself taken down, knocked right down, ragdolling happening, because Aslan is still have got his motorbike and is going to be turning right around. He's not going to be letting the members from the side of the WTG Expert just run away like that. The Parrot, he makes his way inside of the house. He popped on with the time turner and is waiting for the perfect opportunity to just come right out again. But Axlan is doing so much. That motorcycle knocked one person out, and that is going to be Cab. Unfortunately, no name. He capped the head of the members from the side of SSG, or rather, Script shots. They are indomitable. They have found themselves a total of 9 kills. What has happened to them? It's like they had a eureka moment, and they are just bringing down the hammer of judgment onto the members here.
Cobra still alive and kicking shy, as well as X-Lance. Now they find themselves in the crosshairs of Hard to Get, and at the same time, Cobra very slowly sneaking up against the players of Hard to Get will be able to position himself for that perfect shot. X-Bot knocks Jay-Z down onto the ground. Axe is getting involved in this situation as well, and Hard to Get having to manage 2 different teams at the very same time, forced to pull out their time turner as well because of Axis Esports. Geek Fam haven't really played a part in here just yet. Umbrella Reborn still alive and kicking. This is looking to be one crazy circle in terms of a setup, and Geek Fam now moving close towards the center. Neptune, good grenade out of the grenade launcher. Did he get the trajectory? He does not. It misses ever so slightly, but with the Grocer in hand, should be able to punish. Xbot takes out the final play of Script shots, which is quite unfortunate after they've had such a tremendous run within this round.
Well, what can I say? They have already gotten what they wanted to do. They have got a massive amount of kills to their name, and I think that they have created enough havoc around the map. And this is the 4th circle that is shrinking in, and we already have 6 teams left. I think that Script Shot alone, they have already changed the pace of the game, and I absolutely love what they did. And I really want to thank them, to be very honest. And at this point in time, we're going to be looking at the rest of the 6 teams going on about. Geek Fam kind of seems like they're going to be taking a fight first.
Yep, against Umbrella Reborn. Error taken out of the equation by Fikri, as well as his Mag 7 auto shotgun supremacy in a situation like this where you will only face off against the other players in a close quarters combat. Exec gets traded out, and Kaz will be able to shut down Mano 4 as well. The casualties on Geek Fam, on the other hand, is a little bit worse if you would like to compare. Oh, glue wall down on the ground. Nail now, Mag 7 does not get to shut down yet another player from the side of Geek Fam, and he backs away. Kaz will be able to eliminate Exec from the equation. 3 players still alive on the side of Umbrella Reborn. Ego Oblivions makes their exit, but it doesn't really matter, as Umbrella Reborn now still hyper-focused on Geek Fam. Fikri knocks one down. And Geek Fam down in the ground, and Umbrella Reborn 10 kills up, still alive to make their way in towards the next circle. They can deal with a very venomous Cobra on the way, whilst Axis Esports engages against Hard to Get.
The Mission Meta is making his entrance as we have the members from Hard to Get. They are prepared to take this fight on. They do have a couple of automobile that is going to be helping them to take this fight against Axis Esports. But is that really going to be the case, or are they just going to be anchoring down right in the center circle? Because they are not the only ones in here. It is going to be Axis Esports, especially with one of the members around the vicinity, right inside of a camp, or rather tentage. Hard to Get, they have the watchtower. They have a couple of that elevation. The rest of the members from Axis, 2 of them inside the circle, 2 of them outside of the circle. Umbrella Reborn is probably going to be that unknown factor, and them making their way in could change the game all and entirely.
Unless Cobra finishes all three of them off. Needs to get yet another shot out of the grenade launcher. Already knocked one player, but very low on HP. Has no medkit to work with. Kaz out in the and Cobra himself shuts down Umbrella Reborn. Has the final player left for the side of Blacklist International, but gets taken out by the blue zone. Now it's only hard to get going up against Axis Esports. It's a 4v3. Axis Esports, they've got the man advantage. Insane down onto the ground as well as Axis Esports tries to win this. Neptune gets traded out. Jay-Z as well as Ares down on the ground. Jay-Z final hope. 3v1. Hard to get. Not in the greatest of position to secure a booyah for themselves. And Jay-Z stuck on top of this watchtower. Here comes the end. One final glue wall in front of them. But Jay-Z barricades himself up right over. And it is the end. As hard to get eliminated out of this equation. What a stellar booyah picked up here, Abstract.
This is quite a game. Indeed, Axis Esports getting themselves the booyah here. Absolutely stellar. Biffy, if I can. They managed to get themselves a good amount of points to the name, and they are probably really happy at the fact that they got themselves a booyah here because they really want to draw some more points away from Overdose Esports. Or yeah, I think Overdose Esports is the main team that they want to catch up to because Overdose, they caught up to them yesterday, and today they want to be the one to catch up to Overdose instead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Axis Esports, with one good performance, will be able to skip over not one, but two teams at the very same time. Remember, Orange Esports were very, very close to Overdose Esports as well. And with Axis now pulling off this tremendous booyah for themselves in such a convincing manner, with quite a number of good kills as well, will be able to position themselves right beyond these two teams. But it's just way too complicated if you look at the lower half of the leaderboards. The teams like Umbrella Reborn, who were tasked to pick up a lot of points, did manage to get towards that final circle, but just, I mean, I'm talking about a few steps away, a few feet away from the final circle. The one and only Venomous Cobra out of Blacklist International surely knew how to put an end to their approach.
Indeed, Cobra, despite being the last member remaining from the side of Blacklist International, just competing for the final circle, he was still very resilient. He's not going to be letting the fact that he's alone stop his aggression. And him alone created enough chaos right down onto the opponents that was trying to make their way in. And that was just really unfortunate, if I may say. But all in all, Cobra bring Cobra. I just love what they did. And, well, that was also one of the fastest games that we have witnessed here, AJ. Fifth circle, and we're done.
I mean, it's not the best of situations for some of these teams, you know, because they were doing so well. I mean, when I talk about well, I'm talking about script shots. I mean, kill after kill after kill, and a team that quite honestly could not find a lot of those plays working out in their favor did quite well for themselves. Even Umbrella Reborn managed to take down the powerful Geek Fam and continue to move on towards that final circle. And these are all not lucky engagements, right? These were teams that are truly struggling within the league stages, taking on some titans of the competition and really not caring. And this is one of the best things that have come out of Garena, removing the kill feed. Teams are no longer second-guessing themselves, and hopefully later on when they go ahead and look at the replays, when they go ahead to watch these videos, they will realize that their capability in the league is actually far greater than what they actually think, Natalie.
Wow, what an ending. I swear Umbrella Reborn must be kicking anything that they have that reminds them of Blacklist. I was thinking like, oh my gosh, it's going to be Umbrella's time to shine because we know how close they are to making it to top 12. Like, they are essentially everyone's rival towards the bottom of the bracket. And then Cobra all of a sudden just comes out, sticks his head out, sees Umbrella, he's like, oh, free kills, grabs a couple kills. And then he submits himself to the Storm because it's like, why should I give myself away to the other teams, right? Because he's alone anyway. But man, if I was Umbrella, I would be so dang annoyed because they were on a roll as well. I think they went down with 10 kills, which is a lot for this squad. Like, very rarely do we see them have such a good game. But if there's one thing I want to say, I feel so bad for them for that circle. It could have gone the other way. It could have gone in favor of Umbrella, but it was just on the other side. And it's Kalahari. It's barren. There's not much cover. They had to literally just run through the desert, praying glue walls are going to be enough. But then, yeah, there are a lot of snakes in the desert, I saw.
17 points, not too shabby at all for all of that effort.
It could have been more. It could have been more.
It could have been, but if you're Umbrella Reborn, you are thankful. You are on your knees already crying because you got these 17 points. I think they will be quite happy. They'll be quite glad. But who's a little bit more glad than them? Axis Esports. What a tremendous booyah they pick up for themselves after quite a dry spell in the league stage, Stanley.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're starting to see these teams that really need the points grab the points, and it's because of the hard work they're putting in. And I also think it's just all this experience that they're getting playing this league stage. Like, one of the benefits of playing a league stage is you do eventually understand the competition, and this is very valuable to some of the less experienced teams because very rarely do they get this kind of scrimmage. If you think about it, like, yes, it's competition day, but at the end of the day, they're still practicing, they're still learning, and they're playing with the best in the region. And so, as you can see with practice, these guys are turning into monsters, and they can compete with the top dogs, as we're starting to see. Very quickly though, here's the player data for the round. We've got Kaz on the side of Umbrella Reborn with 7 kills to his name, locking in that MVP for the match. And second, we have the beater here from Script Shots with 4 kills to his name. Then we have Mano4 from Geek Fam in 3rd place with 3 kills. And then finally, 2 Fast GG on the side of Axis with 2 kills to end the round. We've got one more game for B versus C. I thought it was going to be a similar situation to yesterday where it was just going to be Geek Fam and Blacklist domination. We're not seeing it. I'm surprised, but I'm also really excited because that means we're going to be seeing some dark horses really run the race today.
I just love the fact that none of the super big dogs is exactly getting themselves the booyah. I mean, to be fair, it's only one round in for both Blacklist International as well as Geek Fam. I hope, honestly, match 4, not these two don't get themselves the booyah, because I want to see one of these teams at the lower half of the bracket get themselves the booyah and then just completely mess up our math. Like, as though my math is already not messed up, because I can't math at all, so I don't know who's
Abstract. We don't need math here. I mean, you're kind of ruining it already with your predictions.
That's the fun. Oh wait, I am part of the teams here. I'm technically playing MCP. Oh.
Kind of. Maybe we can consider you the Oracle now. Let's change your name because the Abstract Oracle.
Oracle or Noracle?
Is there is there a bad Oracle? Is there like not a necromancer? No. We'll just have to consider Abstract the villain, I think, because it just seems like whatever he says goes, but in a bad way. Any final words before we go for a quick break, folks?
None from me, ma'am. I'm looking forward to the next half.
Yeah, we're not going to let Abstract speak. All right, folks, go to the toilet. If you need to grab some snacks, do so now, because we're going to have a 5-minute break. Once we return, we've got some more Free Fire.
프리파이어와 방탄소년단이 콜라보레이션을 진행하게 되었습니다.
네, 방탄소년단 스타일의 이모치가 궁금하시다면요. 네.
우리가 디자인한 코스튬을 입고 싶으신가요?
그러면 프리파이어에 접속하세요.
많은 깜짝 선물이 기다리고 있으니
프리파이어와 방탄소년단의 콜라보레이션 기대해주세요. 네, 많은 관심과 사랑 부탁드립니다.
프리파이어!
프리파이어!
We are BTS. 프리파이어와 방탄소년단이 콜라보레이션을 진행하게 되었습니다.
네, 방탄소년단 스타일의 이모치가 궁금하시다면요.
Can they address upon some of the most dangerous players, even radicals? Yes, from the back, but it won't be. Center gameplay from the back. Oh my lord!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the MCP Major Season 3. It is the final day of the league stage and we're already halfway through the day. We've got 3 more games to go, 1 more for the teams in Groups B versus C. And if you think about it, it's the final game for all the teams in Group B. So this is going to be a very important one for the teams in Group B because of course you want to get as many points as possible. Whereas for Group C, I mean, it kind of matters for some of the teams in there, maybe others not so much, but I'm really keen to see how some of these teams at the bottom of the bracket are going to do in this final round because we have seen a surge in performance from these teams that are struggling, as we could say, right? Trying to break into that top 12. But it's a good thing because not only are we starting to see the full power of these teams, but I think this grand final is going to be amazing, right? It's not just going to be a case of the top teams, the top dogs, these underdogs, these dark horses are starting to really show their power. But speaking of showing stuff, here is our code for today's giveaway. Make sure you claim this right now. If you need to, take a screenshot. You can copy paste it. Do it. I don't know if you can copy paste. Can you? No, you can't copy paste. Just type it.
With Google Lens.
Just type the code.
Yeah,
I
just
suggest
type the
taking take a screenshot. I'm very sure you can maybe copy paste it from the chat. Someone else is going to share it. But make sure you share this code if you can once you get it because this is a time limited code. Make sure you claim it before the end of today because unfortunately the code will expire and it's not a quantity limited code. Everyone can get it until it expires. So please grab it now and also please share it now. Hope you grab your stuff and good luck with getting the skin for today. Now, gentlemen, we're going to jump into our next game and I do believe 30 seconds. I'm on time with this. You know what's going to happen next? You know this is part of my job. I love making your lives hard. I got to hear some predictions for this final game for Groups B versus C. Let's go. Abstract, you go first. I know you're late.
Okay, I'm not gonna be calling out Todak anymore. I think that it's kind of sad, right? So, Geek Fam, let's do it.
That's a high probability of
Safe?
Keith picking it up, but I want Umbrella Reborn to pick up the booyah.
Umbrella were very close last round. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to get it this round. All right, gentlemen, take it away for game number 4 on Purgatory. It's Group B versus C.
Woohoo! We are here! And now it is the final round for Group B to show what they are made of. Is Scriptshots finally, not finally, but is Scriptshots really gonna be stamping over every single one in the lobby? Is Scriptshots gonna be, well, hot dropped by Todak again? Or is it gonna be vice versa? Because Scriptshots, they were pretty happy with the scores last round, and I think that they have gotten just more than enough preparation to take on to the members of Todak. If that eventually happens, take a look at this. Scriptshots, they're just going to be getting their way down to Central, and it doesn't seem like they are the only one going to Central because Geek Fam is going to Central. Todak, they have spread themselves out far and wide to Lumbermill as well as the Fire Brigade. So Scriptshots and Geek Fam, they are going to be fighting 1 against 1, or rather 4 against 4. Who's going to be the one to come up on top? We shall see.
Script shots. I don't know about this idea that they're coming up with, and Vickery will be able to punish from the early moments with the AUG. Can they find more? 3 players on the side of Script shots, all within the exact same house, and a couple of grenades can get the job done. But of course, very early on in this matchup, not a lot of looting has been done by the players of Geek Fam, and therefore they just have to depend on all of their engagements through the guns that they have. Mano4 does have the Charge Buster in hand, but will need to cut down the distance between himself as well as the other players of Script Shots. On the other side of the map, we can see Blacklist International engaging with Let's Go on the side of Wayday Esports, and AKO taking on the fight against Umbrella Reborn. A lot of action here at Purgatory in the early moments.
And not just them, it kind of seems as though Blacklist International themselves have gotten themselves in a small little skirmish against the members from the side of Veda Esports. It's not exactly a skirmish, but it's more of like a pick-off on one of the members from Veda Esports. Geek Fam, they're pretty happy at the very fact that they have managed to get 2 kills from the side of our friends here, and that is going to be Script Shots. But one random landmine is just going to be deployed by the Beta. Managed to bring down one of the members from the side of Geek Fam, and now Man04, he hopped into the same compound where his fellow friend died. As such, 2 versus 2. Make that 2 versus 1 perhaps, as now we're going to be left with one final member from the side of Script Shots, only for Oren to whip up the micro Uzi and bring the entirety of Script Shots down to the ground and buried into the earth.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Beta, but of course on the other side, Umbrella Reborn facing a similar situation as well, getting shut down by the players of AKO. Umbrella Reborn, they only have Niel left live and kicking, and as he backs away from their position, he is now tasked to bring the whole squad right back into the mix. Geek Fam, they only have 2 more players, and you know, I commend Script Shots for being able to cut down Geek Fam from 4 to 2, but I do not commend them for the decision of hot dropping the one and only Geek Fam in this Purgatory. Everybody knows Geek Fam drops over at Central. Yes, Script Shots may pick that side to drop in as well, but it's just a little too careless to go ahead and pick the fight up against Geek Fam. And you know, the worst case scenario could have broken down there, where Toda drops by to check out the situation as well, because usually Fire Brigade is exactly where they go in there for the drop. So, you know, it's just way too many chances that they played, and they pay the very, very unfortunate price of getting taken out in the 12th spot.
I gotta have to say though, Geek Fam, they were really bold to continue the fight down against Script Shots and really just went on and looked for Script Shots. Considering the fact that they definitely 100% know that Todak usually lands in Fire Brigade, which is true in this game. But Todak this time, they were a tad bit low in catching the 2 other members from the side of Geek Fam. If they were a little bit faster, if they have one person from the side of Todak that have decided to go in and scout first, perhaps they will be able to get the timing up a little bit better and actually bring down Geek Fam, and Todak would be really happy with the results if they eventually did that. But that was all just hypothetical. That didn't happen. So, well, we're just gonna leave it to them, because we are only gonna see that happening again in the grand finals, as we are pretty darn sure that Todak and Geek Fam will meet again in that on that day.
WTG backing away as Axis Esports spots them out. A couple of shots, not too much for them to worry about, but of course to most definitely be a little bit more careful with in terms of engagement, so that they are far outside of the next circle. They have to cross over a bridge from the side of Golf Course to be able to make it on in, and it doesn't seem like there will be any teams who will be stepping on in their way. But Toda, instead of doing that, they will cross on over and potentially meet Ego Oblivions. On the other side, hard to get. They catch the players of Orange Esports. Shadow repositions himself to take the foot of the hill just to circle on around, being the guy who wants to flank the players of Orange Esports, and Orange Esports has the exact same idea. They wrap around each other. Who's gonna be able to execute this better? D-Cause initially with the Woodpecker will be able to peck away at the players of Hard to Get. Let's see if or not he can secure a kill, as D-Torm now moves on in with the double barrel, busting down the glue walls, and Goku will be able to find the kill onto Ares. Torm gets traded back out. Jay-Z strikes back as well. D-Cause with the Woodpecker still dropping on the head. Shadow and Insane now on the side of Hard to Get. No grenades to play from Insane, but the VSS more than enough as he takes that final shot. Insane skills by Hard to Get, as well as the man himself, the one and only Insane.
The BB gun came into play, and Insane have done what he needed to use that VXS and bring his opponents down. Granted, it's not exactly the best gun to eventually use in that moment, but hey, it came in clutch, and that is the gun that eventually brought down the entirety of Orange Esports. But look at that ragdoll onto that car, and it flew right into the sky as Jaboiwa and Pydro literally just crashed each other and kissed each other in the face with the vehicle. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the end of the fight, because Chill is just going to be wrapping around. Found Error brings Error down as well. Todak and Umbrella Reborn, both of these teams have got one person taken down each. But I don't think that that's going to be too big of a deal, because Umbrella Reborn, yes, they have two of the members that have recently been revived. I don't think that that is going to stop them from reviving Error back in anyways.
Yeah, Ames brings Pedro right back into the mix, and Spark now lighting up the car. Let's see if or not the players of AKO will be able to zoom away from the situation. Oh, he jumps out, but Spark was flying. Ragdoll moment. AKO, they strike back, but Thoda, they won't be able to recover. Chill with the charge buster now. One final shot. Spark on play as well. Circles around, does not find the player. The one and only Cheers. No glue wall in front of him. He gets sprayed down. Spark down on the ground as well. Ames and Pedro to recover this situation. Pedro from afar will have the AC-80, but all of the glue wall maze in front of him will make sure the players of AKO are safe and secure. Pedro, final player. Mag 7 on for the shutdown, but he's going up against a charge buster. Toby QDs just needs one good charge, and he does not get it. Pedro shuts down Toby QDs. Pedro now with the full-on play, but the players of AKO have been picked up. Cheers now on the ground, and the one and only KO Liger's taken out by this matcha. The one and only Pedro, 3 kills back to back, and the revivals kept happening, but he did not stop, and with the auto shotgun on its own, made sure he secures the kill, picks up his team members as well. What a play. But now Ego Oblivion steps on into the fray.
Oh my god, what can I say about that fight? It was definitely intense. It's really sad that all the knockout have made the wrong decision, and that is going to be openly saving their fellow friend and trying to revive, not really revive, but get their friend back up on his feet, only to be shot down by Pydro himself. Absolutely phenomenal play from Todak, despite it all going right down to the wire. And now, with the circle eventually getting smaller and smaller, we haven't even quite seen the entrance of the second circle. In fact, it is just about shrinking, and we have a total of 9 teams left in the game. Hard to get. The one that we are watching on the screen at this moment in time have got a total of 5 kills to their name. They did manage to weed out the members of Ego Oblivions. They are throwing a couple of pot shots over them. Alas, it is not. They did not manage to bring anyone down, but this relentless shots over to Ego shows that they would want to engage a fight against Ego. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a simple team versus team play. It kind of seems as though it's going to be a team versus team play, because Umbrella Reborn is just right around the vicinity. Yes, indeed, we did manage to get and see a 2-for-1 trade, but all these teams here, they're going to have to be really careful with what they're doing, because Umbrella Reborn, they are here to mess them up.
But Aries, he strikes back, and now Error down onto the ground. It was an erroneous mistake to go in and hit against the players of Hard to Get or any one of their opponents that they are trying to pick up the kill points on. And Umbrella Reborn, they pay the big price. But now, how will Hard to Get manage this situation as Ego Oblivions? They've got a compound to work with, and all of those windows will provide the perfect cover as they take these spot shots against the players of Hard to Get, who are out there in the wide open. Being forced to use up all of their glue walls this early will put the players of Hard to Get in a very unfortunate situation later on in the game. With 9 teams still alive and kicking, Hard to Get needs to back away to a safer compound. The players of GeekFam, on the other hand, they find the backs of WTG. Cute down onto the ground. Nothing cute about that, as Orin now comes in with one quick toss of the flash freeze. Will force the players of WTG out of their domain. And of course, Exact and Orin will finish off the rest of the players. GeekFam, what a move on in. This is the kind of dominance we are used to out of this squad.
Indeed, the embers is just reigniting inside of Geek Fam as it slowly and gradually grows into a massive fire. And Geek Fam, they're not gonna be stopping until someone extinguishes them. That is, if anyone even brings any fire extinguisher here. Because let's be honest, Geek Fam, they are a strong team. And when they are on fire and when they have the momentum, they will make full use of that and wipe everyone off this map and get themselves a massive bomb into their kill feed. However, their biggest enemies, Blacklist International, is not exactly out yet. In fact, all 4 of them is still here. And Blacklist International is just tailing right behind of Geek Fam. Alas, I don't think that Blacklist International knows exactly where Geek Fam is. But if they continue on, they might be able to find the members from the side. Oh! And how is that possible? That was disgusting! Charge after charge after charge! He found a member from the side of Umbrella Reborn. It was Neil, and then iPad, and then Kaz, and Era is gonna be the last member remaining as cowards and fear inside of one of this house. And he have nowhere else to go but to hide in here until backup arrives.
All of chaos, all of pandemonium about to be unleashed. As the players of Geek Fam really putting on the hurt against the rest of the players of Umbrella Reborn. All lucky for Error that he is nowhere near the rest of his squad members. But now, look at this battle. Blacklist International, they are setting up an attack. And let's see if or not they will be able to engage with Geek Fam. Good grenade. Orin just teased with it. Orin now charging up his own grenade. Will not be able to do any damage whatsoever. Cobra has got the double barrel. Phoenix already on with the charge of the Charge Buster, waiting to take down yet another glue wall, but has been barricaded by the players of Geek Fam. Phoenix now tries to close the distance, but he brings up his own glue walls to play the game of defense for himself. As he turns around the corner, charging up his Charge Buster, finds absolutely nothing but Vaytay Esports from afar. They are taking full advantage of this engagement. And Geek Fam, they are gonna get caught with their pants down. Let's go with a good grenade. Zapnu already down onto the ground. Fikri takes out Zapnu. And the players of Vaytay Esports now chipping on in at the worst time of all. Blacklist, they pay the high price. And Vaytay Esports, they continue the fight up against Geek Fam. Exec with a good charge up against Let's Go. One tap now, circling around. Good grenade out. Exec gets taken down by the one and only Neptune. Axis Esports chipping on in as well. This circle way too chaotic, and the pandemonium continues.
And now Damon, he did manage to bring one person down, but unfortunately he was traded out as well. Forbes is just going to be hiding himself at the top of the ridge, right behind this glue wall. He continues to rain down shots, and he managed to bring down a couple of members from the side of Geek Fam, leaving Axac all alone. It is just going to be 1 versus 1. No one around the vicinity is just going to be coming in to fight them out. So the members from the side of Geek Fam as well as Vaytay Esports, they don't necessarily have to be too afraid of anything. Todak finds himself taken down as they went on for a full-out fight against Hard to Get. A lot of things just erupting at the exact same moment. But who is going to be the one that eventually goes down? Well, Hard to Get definitely is not going to be the one, though. They have a total of 11 kills in the name. 2 of them left. It's definitely going to be tough for them to even fight for the final circle, but let's not count them out yet.
Yeah, the same situation for the players of Geek Fam as well. Exec all alone, and he's just behind Axis Esports. As he tries to get into the next circle, you can bet the players of Axis Esports will be trying to gatekeep him. And Geek Fam, they will not be in the best of positions. There you go. He has been spotted out already. Too Fast GG immediately with the flank, trying to finish off Exec. Can he find the shots first? Exec already charging up the Charge Buster, has the Groza in hand as well. Too Fast GG with a good glue wall, and now pulls out his own Charge Buster, the one and only Neptune from across, but it's just way too chaotic to play in this small little hut. Exec jumps out, manages to get Too Fast GG, charges up once again. Exec, can he find Neptune as well? Neptune just waiting for Exec, turns it on at the wrong time, but Exec tries to move away from the rest of the team members. Riptide Rhythm will miss Exec's glue wall, and he still stays alive. One grenade comes looking, it does not get Exec, and he recovers his HP. How will he take this engagement? Vaytay Esports can get involved as well. Exec with the tremendous play all on his own now. Riptide Rhythm on his own takes down the glue wall that Neptune was hiding behind, but no shutdown just yet, and the numbers can catch up. Oblivions out of nowhere. They knock down Neptune. Will Exec now take advantage? He's charging up the flash freeze already, goes in for the pop, and he will be able to pressure them at the very same time. Glue wall almost gets taken down. Neptune now down on the ground. Grows up for the strike. Exec
wishes to rest, and that is what Exact is trying to say. Too Fast GG made a foolish mistake of rushing into the storm, trying to bring the member from Exact down. He may be a lone wolf, but he is not gonna be backing down from all of these adversaries, and he is the one to come up on top, despite the fact that it was 3 versus 1. Ego Oblivious came out from absolutely nowhere and landed a lot of lead right behind the members from the side of Axis, and thus Axis taken out in 5th place. Geek Fam still alive. They must be really sad with what they have made. They must be really sad about their decision making, and Axac is not even done with his onslaught. Like I say, this ember is emerging as a huge flame.
Oh, exact. He had to take on the whole of Axis Esports all on his own, and he bought enough time for himself just so that the rest can chip on in, and he took the advantage at the very end. And Axis Esports themselves have been taken out of the equation, and now Ego Oblivions as well as Hard to Get. Will Exact be able to remain surviving and then jump on in for the final battle, as Hard to Get now goes into a skirmish against Ego Oblivions. Aim J down onto the ground. There's no way Twinkle will be able to reach him in time, and Twinkle now has to face off against 2 players. Exact will show himself at the very final moment. Groza in hand for Twinkle as well. Has got the double barrel. Exact has got the charge buster. Needs to turn around and shut him down. Insane takes out Twinkle, and Exact gets taken out. Hard to Get. They secure a solid booyah. Even if Geek Fam did manage to show us tremendous plays, at the very end of the day, what matters is who survives to make that final shot.
And the booyah came to the hands of Hard to Get. The ring pull came in to be advantages for Hard to Get. And let's not forget about the fact that they have a total of 2 members, despite it being such a small circle. The fortunate thing is all other adversaries were dropped down to only a single player. So this was really a game that is technically served on a silver platter. For Hard to Get, it was definitely a tough round for everyone in this lobby. Hard to Get, well, they definitely deserve this game all in all. But I believe that Geek Fam is the one that really stole our hearts, despite a rough start in the early stages of the game, fighting against the members of Script Shots, as you have saw previously just now. And somehow, Geek Fam, they still managed to get themselves the 2nd place and a load of kills.
I mean, Exact all on his own just showed everybody else exactly why Geek Fam is one of the most feared teams out of Malaysia when it comes to Free Fire. I mean, the guy just has got absolutely no chill whatsoever, just walks through all of his opponents, and the decision-making skills that he has allows him to take on 2v1 situations without any hesitation whatsoever. Continuously playing cat and mouse around the glue walls that he builds in front of himself, all thanks to the early loot that Geek Fam manages to focus on very early on into the game. And taking Script Shots out of the equation also meant that they got to loot out all of those players, so that just put them in a much better position. But they were outnumbered, and this was the moment where Geek Fam kind of really got caught off guard, because they didn't expect the players of Vete Esports to hit from the back.
But hey, I'm just gonna have to say, they were relieved of quite a lot of duties. It kind of seems as though Exact is supposed to go down a lot earlier, especially since Axis Esports came out of nowhere. It's definitely crazy. It's definitely great. Exact, he had multiple saviors, and he's got a lot of people to thank. Don't you think that, Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel.
Nice.
It was good.
You didn't.
Did you hear me?
Never mind.
That was terrible. But you know, the opposite of terrible was wonderful. I think I need another coffee. I don't have enough coffee for this. Okay, firstly, I want to say amazing plays from Exact. But you two probably saw why he was able to make such good plays.
Yes.
One of the main reasons being, firstly, the guy's not just skilled, but did you see how many glue walls he had?
Yes.
Like, even after Axis went down, he had 12 glue walls to work with, and practically everyone else besides Hard to Get had many glue walls to work with. So because he had so many, he could just leapfrog from glue wall to glue wall, change his position, make it really difficult for for everyone to sort of track him. And I mean, yeah, he didn't get the booyah, but I think Exact's like, well, we're fine, right? I don't think it matters.
It surely doesn't matter. I mean, 14 kills overall, and the guy managed to pick up quite a number for himself all alone. And he also picked up the second spot for Geek Fam, right? I mean, he did almost everything in the second half of the game for the squad.
Yeah, he just did such a great job. Hard to get. I think they also made the right play, right? They didn't need to stick their nose into everybody's business. They just waited. They had a number of blue walls on them as well. I think they were sitting on about 16, 17 combined. That was before they actually did start to sort of encroach on that final circle. So just why? What? You don't need to. You don't need to stick your nose into everyone's business. Just play it passive. I mean, they already had a number of kills under their belt. Just wait for the late game. Here's the not so helpful final standings because we don't know where everybody is.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that's important is we know Geek Fam's in the #1 spot now.
I guess, but we still got 2 more games to go.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Blacklist International just behind them by 11 points. Yes, Abstract, you were saying something.
No, I'm just surprised that Geek Fam actually managed to catch up to Blacklist International. I honestly can't remember how far of a lead Blacklist International eventually had or initially had, but hey, 2 rounds in for members of Group C, they must be really happy. And not to forget, hard to get, this is the last game of Group B, and they indeed exited with a bang.
Yeah, and they exceeded expectations as well after not really having all that too much of a showing within this week. On the final day, they hit back hard and they managed to climb up to the 4th spot. And right behind them is Toda, who happens to be in Group B as well. So that's not something that they need to worry about. Behind them, Vete Esports, nothing to worry about. But Bloody Heads, they are in Group A. But is there something to worry about in terms of Bloody Heads? The answer is still no, because Bloody Heads is just way too far away from them in terms of points. So did they do enough on the final game of the league stage? Heck yeah, Hard to Get has done more than enough, and picking up the MVP as well. Insane truly deserves it with those VSS skills.
Yeah, they do totally deserve it. So Hard to Get, I think at this point, the team's happy. They've gotten top 12. That's the most important thing. So looking forward to seeing how Hard to Get do in that grand final, because I think this is going to be an explosive team. They're a little bit slow at the gate, right? Especially at the beginning of the season. We definitely had our doubts. But they woke up, and I'm really glad to see them sort of pick up their feet and say that we are also going to be contenders. But it's time to shift our attention back to 2 groups that are still playing, as we have 2 more games left to play, and it's Groups A versus C. Now, we do have a couple changes that can happen. Of course, we do have a lot of teams towards the bottom of the leaderboard in these 2 groups, so these could be literally grand final slot deciding matches for those teams. But we could also be in for another interesting situation where I think we could actually see Do Easy maybe swipe that top spot, but under very specific circumstances. Now, the circumstances being they need to have 1 explosive round, meaning they need to get not only the booyah, but at least 12 kills on top of that as well. They need 20 kills.
Yeah.
So there's the possibility of it happening. We've seen it in the past, but I don't know. Can they do it today?
I do not deny that possibility, but, and I mean no disrespect here, I really don't care about those who are playing at the top, right? It's all about the story of who's at the bottom. I mean, they've done it enough. We'll see them at the grand finals. Down at the bottom, Danley. I'm nervous to see who we're not going to see at the finals.
AJ, we can't even see what's happening on the bottom. At least we can see what's happening up top.
I can tell you, Umbrella Reborn are so close.
Fine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think it'll still be a pretty interesting storyline if at the end of the day, suddenly Do Easy end up in 1st place. I think it'll be pretty interesting, but I do agree. I think the bottom of the bracket is more interesting because it also decides our top 12 teams. But we've got 10 seconds left. Predictions, very quick ones as well. I don't want you second guessing here.
what? Booyah prediction? That's so boring. That's so boring. 3 teams in the final circle.
Hey.
Wish list. I want Umbrella Reborn to get into the top 12. I think this team has done enough. And it's going to be a battle against Icon, okay, especially. And Icon are the ones who are holding on to the 12 spot. So it'll be crazy to see 2 of these teams in the final circle.
Look at AJ being a bit of a weenie here with his pick. He's like, I'm going to pick 3 teams for the
Every time
possibility
I
of my
bet on a big
predictions
team,
happening.
the predictions are always solid. I'm just trying to give some of my good luck to
Okay.
the smaller teams.
All right, Abstract, what are you going to do?
Okay, I think that I really want to see these 3 teams on top.
Oh
Icon,
God, here's the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Umbrella Reborn,
Oh God.
and Blacklist.
I love you, Abstract.
Wait. Hang on. Abstract. 3?
What's up?
3.
Yeah.
Who's
three,
number 3?
yeah.
He gave 2
Blacklist.
teams.
No, he said Umbrella Reborn, Icon,
Okay.
and Blacklist.
Oh, okay. I missed the icon. All right, I'll let you,
You
two
need
go.
that other coffee.
I do. All right, you guys take it away. I'm gonna go grab my other coffee. Good luck, have fun, guys.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this time around, the flight path cutting through Stone Ridge all the way down towards Old Hampton, opening up pretty much the whole map for all of the teams. Tactical Intex taking the early engagements up against the players of Icon, down at the sub. Someone's going to go down under. Someone is going to rise up to the surface of the water. Either way, it's not the submarine. It's one of these 2 teams.
Oh, okay. Very early into the game, Icon has already found themselves in such a bad spot. Why? 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 Oh, wait. They're turning it around.
Yeah.
Maybe turning it around. As one and flame. 2 for 2. And at this point in time, anything could happen here, AJ. Anything.
Absolutely. It's all about who makes the better decision and whether or not it is going to be the players of Icon that aggress on forth. Mio's not waiting on anybody's ceremony. He rushes just on in. And it's going to be the G36 now for the pop through the time turner. Ravana turns around. UMP Mio down onto the ground. It's going to be the UMP game, boy. And that is not going to be at all a situation that Icon's going to be pleased with. One, as the final player, will jet out of this spot. But just behind the sub, there is a revival point. So Icon, they don't need to sweat this way too much. Tactical Intex know of that as well. It could be a spot of ambush for them. Let's see how that breaks down. But in the meantime, WTG, they've already gotten involved in a skirmish against AKO. They've lost 1 player already, and now the second one on the ground as well. AKO only have Jaboywa to deal with and depend on. It is the UMP play and his MP5 play, my apologies, on his side that should give him a lot of engagement, combat ability, close range, and that also takes down No Name. 1 final player, Zine, turns around, but unfortunately the G36 a little bit better. And of course, AKO, they just didn't have that HP on them.
Well, now WTG Expert has gotten themselves a total of 4 kills to their name. Alas, they have only lost Cute, and I don't think that is going to be a problem at all. I mean, after all, they are pretty darn close to the vending machine. In fact, it is right in front of them, and they will revive Cute right after the vending machine, and they are going to be really happy about that. In the meantime, we are now going to be looking at Blacklist International that's just going to be creeping in pretty darn close to one of the members, or rather, the entire team of Ego Oblivions. Are they? Because, at least for now, I'm just looking at Zapdu. His lone wolf. He's running around. He can pretty much see Twinkle across the distance. And now the way that they have set themselves up is that 3 of the members from the side of Blacklist International, they are the main squad. And they will be rushing right into the face of Ego Oblivions. And if Ego Oblivions have decided to run away, the places that they can run away is into the center of the circle where Zapnu is. And that is the game plan of Blacklist International. Unfortunately, one thing they did not realize, my son is also 1 step ahead.
Blacklist launching themselves straight into trouble, but that's not going to be something that Phoenix is going to be super concerned about. He knows Zapnu has his back, but it's all about how Cobra and Lux will be able to make their way in as well. As I say that, Cobra comes flying on in, and the last thing you want to see is a Cobra flying through the air. Distracted by a flying Cobra, Phoenix takes advantage, shuts down a player on the side of Ego Oblivions, and it all ends well for the side of Blacklist International. But the game is not just over just yet. Pepper down below, Cobra with the backstab. Oh, with a timely glue wall in front of him, but Phoenix will be able to get that knock with a charge buster. Misses the second one hilariously, but recovers, and nobody else on the side of Ego Oblivions will punish them for that play. Overdose Esports now coming into the fray to make the fight for Ego Oblivions a little bit more tougher. It is all now depending on my son. What's his decision? If he stays quiet and backs away, perhaps there's still enough opportunities for the rest of the team to come back in for the play later on.
There could be a chance that my son would want to run away from all of that. But unfortunately, we will turn around and of course circle back onto my son in a while later. Because here in the maze, we are going to be looking at a couple of teams that initially had a fight. WTG Expert as well as Umbrella Reborn. With WTG Expert, they did manage to have a really good fight against the members of AKO Ligers, and they can definitely take another fight if they really wanted to. Unfortunately, time is of the essence here, and that could be one of the reasons why they are not taking a fight. Umbrella Reborns have decided to move up northward and in a clockwise direction, heading themselves over to Foundation, which happens to lie inside of the ring. So they should be looking out for a couple of that placement points that they want, not exactly the kill points that they want, because they know the idea of going for a booyah. If you get a booyah, naturally kills will flow in, and you're gonna have to work for it. And eventually you will get the kills that you want over dying too early outside of the zone.
Icon, 2 more players, and they should be able to make something out of that. They're not too far away from saving themselves. And Umbrella Reborn, hot on their tails, playing in this game as well. It is not the time for Icon to start slacking off. So they need to make better decisions as they try to traverse towards the next circle. They're just on the edge of it now at Stone Ridge. And as they try to move on in towards the deeper side of the circle, they will have to pass through teams like Bloody Heads as well as Geek Fam and Tactical Intex. Speaking of Tactical Intex, they are in the spot where Icon will end up in if they continue moving forward. So let's see if or not this can be a good benchmark for what happens to a team that ends up between Bloody Heads as well as Geek Fam. Santa Catarina as well as Command Post are quite far away, but all you need is one AC-80 to spot the players of Tactical Intex. Wait, I don't even need to do that, right? Look at this. Tactical Intex already taking pot shots against Geek Fam. They're giving away their position free.
Tactical Intex, well, what are they thinking of doing? All 3 of them are now going to be moving up northward, and they're trying to get themselves in the center of circle. There could be a possibility that they would want to play at the east or the western part of Santa Catarina, and it kind of seems like they are doing that. They did manage to put themselves into a vehicle and immediately making their way in. They are putting themselves one step ahead. They do not want to care about killing the team at Santa Catarina right now, right by the shipwreck. They would want to wait for the next circle and see how the ring pulls into them. If it works out well, the one team at Santa Catarina will then have to move in via displacement, and they will meet up with that Tactical Intex. And Tactical Intex will be on home ground. They hunker up in there. All they gotta do is look out the window and shoot at whichever team is trying to make their way in that way. The team that's making their way in, they would have to use up their glue walls and making the interior of the fight inside of a house a lot more difficult.
Because of the danger zone, Icon just had to put off their movements in towards the next circle a little bit. And it's good on them that they made the decision, because Eastern Wolfgang would have been able to cleanly shut them out as they try to move on in, avoiding that danger zone. But now, the players of Icon very quickly shutting down the distance between themselves as well as the next compound. And off screen, that we saw Umbrella Reborn just circling around. Now we see them on screen, and they will be able to play the edges of the circle, and nobody, absolutely nobody around them to punish.
They are pretty happy with what they're doing. In fact, they are routing all the way to the southern side of the circle. Honestly, I'm not too sure what are they thinking, and of course, what is their idea behind all of that. But I would love to see what they're gonna do from this point onwards. Which exact place are they gonna go? Are they going to go to command post? Or do they just want to play the gatekeeping strategy right by the extremities of the new circle? Well, for now, at least what I see, they're moving all the way down south. They are even going further away from the circle. Not too sure what they're looking out for. Maybe just looting even more, man. But we will get back to that in a while later, all right? Let's circle back on to Eastern Wolves gang. As you can see at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, Tua does seem as though he have disconnected from the game. So if EWG really want to take a fight here, they would have to have one man down. They have to be really careful about that.
Yeah, the pace of the match has slowed down tremendously, but it is gonna pick up pace in a couple of seconds as Overdose. Oh, try for the players of Blacklist International, but Cobra hits with the MP5 from such a great distance. Dude, that is a close-range gun. How is Cobra doing this?
An ACOG on an MP5?
Yeah.
Burst shot? Just killed him? Right out the bat? Yo, Cobra, that is illegal.
I mean, okay, it was a knock, but you know, that was still a spicy knock, man. That was insane from Cobra.
Yeah. That is definitely not something that you can just very casually say, that is just mediocre skill. In fact, that is like amazing skill. I gotta have to say, right? At this point in time, Tua is still out of the game. Fall MX, it did manage to bring one person down. So that is gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. Whereas the other guy from the side of Eastern Wolves gang, well, Tua is all the way down south and outside of command post, not exactly inside. So they should be pretty A-okay, at least for now.
Yeah, let's see what else they can show us towards the final stages of the game. Santa Catarina still has the players of Geek Fam.
Oh wait, never mind. Umbrella Reborn is inside already.
Yeah, Umbrella Reborn still in here with 4 players, but 0 kills, playing a super patient game. Might be able to find one member of Team Icon as well, as they choose to engage with Bloody Heads instead. Error with the AUG has got the ability to scope on in and take those accurate shots. But Bloody Heads, this is something that we usually do not see early. Them leaving their command post compound in search of the circle. Usually the team keeps that for the very final moments. As soon as the circle starts moving, they start rotating. But we've seen that play against them as well. So in a way, it's quite nice to see Bloody Heads kind of making these adjustments. Blacklist International, they catch the backs of Overdose. Overdose not really carrying all that too much. Pulls out the glue wall, and they will be able to return fire as well. Zapnu, on that note, will reposition himself. And of course, with the very, very good SKS in hand, should be able to throw on a few more extra shots to the players of Overdose.
Well, the circle is indeed coming into a close. And the players from the side of Tactical Intact, they are finding themselves right at the extremities of the circle, exactly as how they would have predicted. However, they didn't really quite predict the fact that Geek Fam would not make their way in the displacement into where they are. They have decided to make their way over to the northern part. And now, Geek Fam, they are not gate-capped by Tactical Intact. In fact, Geek Fam do have a vicinity of their own. They can be taking a fight against Tactical Intact pretty nicely. However, we're going to be moving away from the fight, circle back in later, as now the center of the circle, as well as, well, actually, Eastern Wolves gang, things are starting to get a little bit spicier. A couple of pot shots is just going to be thrown all over the place, as the circle and the ring remains to stay at where it is. The storm surely is closing up close, and the next circle will reveal itself real soon.
Jemble with a long shot against Morgana takes him down instantaneously. Cass on the side of Umbrella Reborn, 2 kills in hand so far. They want to search for a few more, but Do Easy will be able to punish from the distance that they have, as well as the positioning. And the circle moves on straight towards the players of Do Easy as of Times of All, where they picked up the 4 back-to-back booyahs, and now still hyper-focusing on the players of Bloody Head. And Umbrella Reborn should be able to chip on in and torture the players of Bloody Heads, take them out of the equation, but that puts them in a tough spot. The only way Umbrella Reborn now can hope and pray that they survive this, if at all the players of Do Easy get distracted with another battle. And as I say that, that's exactly what happens. WTG now engaging with the players of Do Easy.
And Do Easy now, they have a total of 3 kills to their name. If they did manage to wipe out the entire team of WTG, they must be really happy. In the meantime, we're going to be looking at the northern part of the circle, where Blacklist International has managed to get themselves a total of 4 kills to their name after wiping out the members from the side of Tactical Intact. If I remember correctly, or was it Icon? Sorry, I completely forgot about which Icon. Okay, thank you so much. So, when it comes down to WTG, which was the talking point just now, they are effectively out of the crosshairs of Do Easy, at least from one person, because Jamble is still looking at them. they are fighting wars on different front. 1 versus 3 when we are taking a look at Too Bad versus WTG. But it is Too Bad that we're talking about. He is gonna be pretty darn scary. They can eventually bring the members down of WTG, right as I said it. Jamble takes one person down. Too Bad realizes that they have been hyper-focused on the ones at the top of the ridge and knows that more of the players from the side of WTG is just gonna be swarming in real soon. They managed to scout out the outer side of the vicinity, realized that Cute was trying to get his way in, but unfortunately, it was just way too overwhelming when it comes down to numbers. As such, WTG found themselves taken out in a jiffy.
Yeah, good grenade out of Ipan. Shanks down onto the ground. Multiple kills all around the field. But Nell now needs to get picked right back up. Umbrella Reborn needed the little bit of a gift of distraction, and they got exactly that. And they were able to survive the shots of Do Easy. But now taking on the players of Bloody Head straight face to face. Ego Oblivions get taken out by Blacklist International off screen. But Umbrella Reborn still having a tough time against the players of Bloody Heads. And Geek Fam now keeping an eye on this vicinity as well. Should be able to chip on in with their long-range attack. And Fikri, I believe, is still alive and kicking from the other end. Orin as well. Orin is more of a CQC player, but if Fikri finds you from afar, you are as good as dead to him. Nell now from the back, still with the pressure onto Bloody Heads. And in the meantime, Do Easy is just chilling out, waiting for them to sort each other out.
And now, Ben04, I have no idea where he flew to, but he's now gonna be jumping right in the face of Do Easy, as you can see in the minimap. He's just playing around with the opponents, just kind of like just putting out fish right in front of the steel and just kind of like hoping that something will happen. But Geek Fam took advantage of all of that chaos. They managed to bring quite a lot of members down, but unfortunately, Geek Fam, they are not invincible. 2 other members is down. Jumble threw out the type rhythm and just gonna be extinguishing every single one of that glue walls that's just going to be protecting them. Do Easy, though, on the other side of the map. They'll be taking a fight down right in front of Blacklist International. How is that going to be like? But for now, Exact brings one person down from the side of Marks, and that is going to be the entirety of Bloody Hats taken down.
Well, this is the final circle, so they all have to move on in towards the circle, the middle of the circle, and just play the game of luck. Whilst the players of Do Easy still continue to engage with Blacklist International, Geek Fam can stay out of it, but they choose to aggress either way. The first step is to take down Spade. Exact strike. Blacklist International taken out of the equation, and now the next ones are going to be Do Easy. Question is, will Do Easy be able to turn this around? They toss a nade in, but that misses Exact by a mile. Exact now with the Charge Buster goes out for a hunt. One final glue wall, just Boo right behind, taken down, and Exact secures the booyah for Geek Fam.
Amazing plays coming from the side of Geek Fam once again. You can just see see the thought process of Exact as he slowly took out every single corner. Where could the last person possibly be? Charging up the charge rifle as he jumped into the air, ready to unleash the lead. It was literally, they were literally playing super cautiously, and they knew what they want. The fundamentals set in, and Do Easy, they had no chance against Exact. This guy is a bomb, and that is also one of the reasons why Charge Buster is just so scary, busting out his moves and destroying everyone as you are able to load out your weapon, prepare to unleash a deadly lethal shot at enemies while you're still on the move.
Early on, Icon already knew they needed the points, but got into a very early skirmish where they didn't step away unscathed. They most definitely took a lot of damage in those initial battles. Blacklist International as well, but you know, the difference between them as well as Blacklist International is that Blacklist managed to get all the way towards that final circle. Icon, on the other hand, they just could not hang within this round. WTG, this was the perfect distraction that the players of, I believe, was that Umbrella Reborn, yes, needed in terms of distraction, because Bloody Heads was focusing on them, and Do Easy were in a better position to take them down. But with the WTG distraction, yes, Umbrella Reborn got a little bit of breathing space, but that didn't really last long, because as they continued to take the fight up against Bloody Heads, Geek Fam had their eyes on them and very easily fished out all of those kill points from those two teams. But of course, let's put our thoughts on pause and invite Danley right back to the panel.
Man, that was a really tough game for those teams that are vying for those points. Like, if you think about it, half the kills went to our top 3 teams. Right? I think Geek Fam ended up with 15 kills and Do Easy was sitting on about 12. So that's half the lobby right there in their pocket, which it hurts for those bottom teams that they weren't able to grab it. But I think this is also something that we should have expected as well, right? You're looking at the top 3 teams all playing in the exact same game. I think it was inevitable at some point this was going to happen. So those points, they don't go towards the bottom end of the bracket, but we still do have one more game to go. But it's one more game. And I think for a couple teams, one more game isn't going to be enough anymore. I hate to say it, I think AK are unfortunately out. They really needed to stick their finger out today. I knew looking at their points coming into today that they had to have an outstanding day. Not quite happening. Are there any other teams that you feel like don't really have a chance at making it to top 12? Just from what we know and from what we have seen.
I guess Ego Oblivions will still be in quite a pickle. But Umbrella Reborn, surprisingly, they are still having their hopes lit up alive because Icon's bombing out on these rounds.
But there's one more game to go. So it's not over quite yet. So it seems like out of all the teams that are just teetering on the edge of qualifying, it's Umbrella Reborn basically now.
Yeah.
Competing with Icon. Or it could even be... It could even be them competing with Axis if you think about it.
Axis?
Because Axis is also down there. And Overdose is also down there.
Axis?
Oh, my head is hurting.
Nah, Axis kind of climbed up way too high already with the earlier win. So Eastern Wolves Gang, Orange Esports, as well as Overdose, they potentially might be in a little bit of trouble. But
No, E-Wolves are fine. E-Wolves are fine, Orange are fine, I think.
if E-Wolves are fine, then Axis is definitely fine because Axis sits above E-Wolves.
Fine,
How about Overdose, though?
fine,
I think
fine.
Overdose did not too bad.
They
Over.
Icon needs about, what, 20, 30 points the last time we checked in to kind of catch up with them. So, I mean, and Icon doesn't seem to be doing all that too much of a tremendous job out there. Umbrella's struggling as well. So, Overdose might be safe, guys. It's all about whether or not Icon will be able to save themselves in the final round and whether or not Umbrella Reborn will be able to break through into the top 12 and kick Icon down. They are now so close. I believe they've cut the number of points that they need down to around 5 to 8 points, which is very doable within one round.
I really want to see the leaderboard now, but production have basically hidden the leaderboard from us until the end of today. So I basically just left here sort of guessing on what could happen. But yeah, it seems like realistically speaking, it's Icon and Umbrella Reborn competing for that last spot.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to Umbrella being able to perform it and maybe a little bit of Icon to sort of bomb out in this very last game. And this last game's on Purgatory. Abstract, you're showing a little bit of a thinking face there. Is there something you sort of want to add to this discussion? Or are you trying to math?
I'm trying to math, but I don't remember nuts. I honestly thought that Ego may have a chance. I thought
I
it would
don't
be just
think
a single
so.
booyah. Really?
No,
I can't
no.
math. I can't. I thought that they were maybe like 20.
Ego needed...
22.
Ego
Okay.
Oblivions need more than 30 points. Brother, even if they hit a
Yeah.
booyah, Ego Oblivions is not the kind of team that picks up a lot of kills. So their hope is gone. The only one now is Umbrella Reborn. It's all, if they make it, if they can get 6 points more than the players of Icon, then that is Icon dropping down into the 13th spot, and Umbrella Reborn will be able to rise up and qualify to the grand finals. Now, this next game,
Umbrella Reborn.
my eyes only on those two teams.
Gosh.
Okay. Umbrella
Man.
Reborn, though. We're talking about Umbrella Reborn.
Yes.
They have a pattern of not being able to make it to the next round. They are always dropping off at 13th
But here's the
place,
thing.
16th place.
Okay, here's the thing. Who tends to do better on Purgatory in groups A versus C?
You're asking me
None.
data then.
I don't... well, maybe Abstract has the data because
You
he's
give me the data.
he's clearly the one doing the math here.
He's bad at the one. He's bad at the math. You
bad
don't
at one
ask him to
thing.
count. Okay,
That's the reason people call me Mathstract.
the people do. But here's the thing. As far as placement points go, Umbrella Reborn does better. As far as kills go, Icon does better. That's the only data I can share with you. But, it's vice versa, right? One team does better at one category, so it's all about whether or not Umbrella Reborn will be able to play the game of survival. And if Icon wants to beat them out, they need to have a lot of kills, which means also an aggressive game from Icon from the get-go, which is super risky at the same time. So if I'm Icon, I am going to be sweating buckets right now.
I think everyone's sweating buckets at this rate, especially the teams in the bottom end of the bracket. But we'll let them decide this matchup as we are jumping into our last game of the day. It's on Purgatory. It's Groups A versus C. It's our very last game in the league stage. After this, we'll find out who are our top 12 teams that are going to the grand final. AJ and Abstract, take it away for our grand finale.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the final game of today. The final game of the entire thing when it comes down to MCP Major Season 4. It is about time that we are closing it off and see who is the team that will get to the top 12 as we look at an initial fight real fast coming in from Geek Fam versus Blacklist International. Unfortunately, these two teams aren't exactly the team that we really want to see, though. Blacklist International is the team that came into hot drop onto Geek Fam. This is definitely something that is completely unheard of because Geek Fam, they have went back to Central, the place that they love and adore the most. They always come here, but Blacklist International, they will always go to somewhere else. This time, they are here to join the party. Lux finds himself lower than 50% HP. He would definitely want to get himself right out of dodge here. And so will Geek Fam as Orin finds himself knocked down. Man04 also knocked down. Exact with a sliver of health. The members of Rosana Blacklist International is not exactly doing very well as well. Man04 picked up. Victory is probably the only one that is healthy enough to eventually fight against the members of the side of Blacklist International. 2 versus 2. All of their HP combined is pretty much the same. So who's going to be the one that really comes out of this game? Who's going to be the one to really win? As Victory decided to stand, or rather jump onto the tires, flings himself to the top of the building and finds himself on the roof. As such, he's going to be safe and sound for now against Fenix.
A super shocker of a drop coming out of Blacklist International. They divert from the usual Brasilia straight in towards Central just to tickle the players of Geek Fam a little bit. This is a friendly skirmish between the two that I do not think Geek Fam was expecting. Fikri now about to get caught out, and Man04 shots after shots by the one and only Phoenix. Fikri will be able to respond a little bit, and Phoenix backs away from that situation. Fikri, can he find his shot as Phoenix once again steps on out? The multiple-time MVP within the league stage cannot secure a knock as the players of Geek Fam back away. Man04 is safe and sound, but the guy clearly has got no medkits on himself to play at all. And if you are Man04, now your only duty is to run away as far as possible and allow Fikri to maintain the pressure from his bird's eye view and then bring in the rest of the players of Geek Fam later on. They were ambushed, and clearly it was not their fault that this is the way that the things have turned out, but it is all about the decisions that they make in this circumstance. Do easy, a surprising knock coming through for their MVP. Too bad, and no one's going to be able to get to him just yet as Zine GG as well as No Name now take on Jembal. It's a 2v1 situation with the one and only Jembal stuck in a tough position, but UMP in hand waits for WTG to catch up to him. Cute throwing in some shots with the VSS as well. Jembal finally now with the opportunity, and Cute knocks him down onto the ground but gets traded out by Spade. WTG only have one final hope, and too bad, back on his feet, he finds revenge!
Oh!
What a play! Revenge
What a
at
play.
its finest. You knocked down Too Bad. It's too bad for you if he stands right back up. And it was a good focus play coming through from the players of Do Easy to make sure they get him back on his feet. But of course, the chaos does not stop. Ego Oblivions now fighting the players of Eastern Wolves Gang, or vice versa. Monito with the backstab pulls out the glue wall to position himself. Has got the double barrel in hand as Twinkle backs away from this situation. Having the M4A1 in hand. Twinkle Twinkle knows he has to keep the distance between himself as well as Monito. One good grenade, Twinkle responds, but neither one managing to tag each other up. Twinkle now backs away. It's a 2-on-1. Monito circles around with the double barrel, still not taking him down. And the 2v1, AimJ will be able to get the shot this time round. Eastern Wolfgang only have 2 more left on their side, but Fall MX very quickly trades out Pepper to keep the numbers all equal. It is a 3v2. Ego Oblivion still have got the man advantage, but they are outside of the circle.
And at this point in time, it kind of seems like Man04 is also going to be fighting himself down and dusted down in the lumber mill. I do want to point out that we have one of the most finger-biting experience coming up soon, because I have the preview of the map. I see that Icon, they were in Number Mill just now, and they have decided to take the eastern bridge that connects the main island to the southern island, and now they are coming in a little bit too close over to the members of the side of Umbrella Reborn. Speaking of Umbrella Reborn, they are coming in close to auto knockout. So Umbrella Reborn, they're either going to be really happy about getting a couple of kills off of auto knockout, or they are going to be crying because they have lost their shot in trying to catch up to Icon. How this fight is going to be like? Well, it is going to be shown right about here, right about now.
Cass, good grenade, and immediately pulls out the time turner right after. One glue wall just as a double backup and backs away. Meg 7 now. AKO right in front of them. Charge Buster 2-on-1. Cass in a lot of trouble. Nail will be able to provide the suppressive fire, but the players of AKO not really caring at all as they jump on into the fray. Flame with the Vector will be able to knock Cheers down twice, but the guy's not taken out of the equation just yet, man. As he repositions himself, Cheers is still up on his feet. Cass down on the ground now as Seiya fires right back with a Charge Buster. First time I see a Charge Buster sending someone flying through the air. All thanks to iPants who drops by. And now Niel. Cass needs to get picked right back up as iPants manages to shut down Jaboy while AKO is taken out by the team that desperately needs a win. Taken out by the team that needs about 5 points to qualify to the top 12. At the same time, they need to hope and pray that Icon does not make a play.
This is just scary. We don't exactly know how many points these players need. I mean, at least for me, I have no idea. But one thing's for sure is that Umbrella Reborn, they are really close to Icon. This could make it or break it for Umbrella Reborn. Are they really getting themselves right out of that pattern of always dropping out before, or rather, always not being able to seed into the next part of the tournament? They may very well be able to break that curse this time. So let us just jump right in and take a look at this final game. But for now, we are going to be looking down, or rather looking at, on Too Easy. Fighting against Overdose, as we have the rhythm just going to be instantaneously extinguishing that glue wall. Just going to be housing Archab and his fellow friends here.
Yeah, just Boo spotting out the feet of Acha, but not taking those shots just yet. Repositioning himself just so that he's got those extra glue walls as backup. Acha finally gets sprayed down onto the ground, but finisher not on point just yet. Jesbu finds spin, and the player will be able to pick Acha right back up. Dadat! Oh, the timing was bad. Dadat, as he went in for the charge bust, the charge up, Jesbu finishes him off, and Too Easy now prowling on with 8 kills so far in hand.
Boy, oh boy, that is just unfortunate over to the side of Overdose. Now, 3 teams have already been eliminated, so let us just take a look at where everyone else is, as well as the subject of this game. Icon, they are right inside of the new ring, and they are situated right southern of Tactical Index, as well as Too Easy. They should be okay, at least for now, because all of the teams that are inside the circle, understandably, might not, or rather, probably would not move around too much. So as long as they stay inside, they should be a-okay. How about the members from the side of Umbrella Reborn? Last seen around Ski Lodge. They're not exactly inside of the circle.
Again?
That is the problem for them.
I guess they finally got exactly what they wanted. Blacklist International instantly hot dropped the players of Geek Fam, and finally, after 9 minutes of play, they finish off what they started. By the time they do, 8 kills in hand, and I believe 6 out of these 8 kills came off of the players of Geek Fam.
And I believe that they have done what they wanted to do. And that is going to be suffocating the members of Geek Fam and reclaim their throne of the first place.
Yeah.
This is time, man. The league circuit, it is really scary.
Yeah, may
it
I just...
really
Sorry, Abstract.
Yeah.
Did not mean to cut you off there, but
Please.
that point that you brought up was just absolutely perfect, right? Because Blacklist International, they won back their #1 spot, and we saw the leaderboard earlier on. They just needed about 20 odd points. For Blacklist International, that's very doable, extremely doable. But the one thing that will stand in their way is if Geek Fam manages to find a good round for themselves. So the only viable situation here is for Geek Fam to be one of the first teams to get taken out, and you can't leave that to chance. Blacklist International took that into their own hands, and they have gotten exactly what they wanted. This game now is going the way Blacklist International wants it to go. Let's see if they can finish it off in the exact same way. Umbrella Reborn focusing for something similar, but they are just planning to do slightly better than Icon. And I'm talking about below 10 points better than Icon. Let's see if they can get to the final zone as well.
Unfortunately, right now, we are going to be looking at the side of Bloody Heads. They do not have anything to do with any form of battle, but Icon, the subject of the final game of today, they have Mios that have already been knocked down with 1 kill to their name. Will they be able to get on with a little bit more in order to increase the lead away from Umbrella Reborn? It is all boiling down to this, because they are fighting against Do Easy. They are definitely a team that is not easy to fight. That bounce back of the grenade would have been torturous, but it's okay. It did not blast them back into smithereens.
And look
The
at
rest of the members from the side of Icon realizes that they gotta have to get out of dodge, and indeed they will. They hopped onto their motorcycle, and running away is what they would be able to do best, and that will save their points.
Yeah, the best offense sometimes is just pure defense, man, especially in battle royales where you get rewarded for staying alive longer than your opponents. It's not all about the kills, but as they reposition, Bloody Heads will be able to find them. Kaloy, as usual, AC-80 putting on the hurt against players out there on the battlefield. Not surprised that is the gun of choice for Kaloy, but I am surprised that Icon, they just lost 1 player. Man down on the ground as well. Icon really need to step it on up. Flame cannot take the risk of circling right back towards the spot of the players of Do Easy, and now Icon all out in the open needs to just find a way to recover this situation. Flame is just making sure he circles the vicinity to get that extra information to know where they can move on to next, and he leaves 1 to play the game of survival, but the players of Blacklist International now in the great situation to take him down. Do Easy, Jesbu finds My Son, takes him out of the equation off screen as Do Easy engages with Ego Oblivions. Now we see Tactical Intex approaching the players of Eastern Wolves Gang, who are pinched between them as well as Do Easy. This is not a great spot for EWG.
They gonna have to get themselves right out of dodge as soon as possible. But however, where can they go? As all of these players definitely know that running is definitely one of the most vulnerable thing to do in a game of Free Fire. And they are trying to put themselves in a nice place, and they would want to defend as much as possible. Unfortunately, EWG, they found themselves with a couple of man down, left with Banjai, also gonna be left with Maunito. It kind of seems as though, not too sure where Full MX is, but it kind of seems like he probably is still alive at this point in time, as the members from the side of Tactical Intex just going to be storming right into the building where EWG supposedly is, and they managed to bring down a good amount of them, leaving Maunito, the last member left, and he is outside of the vicinity, just hiding in another shack. Now, Do Easy, they understood that there is a lot of commotion inside of this house, and they have decided to come in, try to go for a little bit of a voucher. Unfortunately, or rather, fortunately for the members from the side of Tactical Intex, it is not a close-range battle.
Flame got taken out. Icon only has 1 final player in the name of 1, and this just means the players of Umbrella Reborn, their prayers are being answered, but at the very same time, Bloody Heads, they engage with Umbrella Reborn. Error taken down already. At the same time, Icon and Umbrella Reborn, they are going to be challenged. iPants, can he survive? Very low on HP. Kaloy charging it up. A double glue wall, but a 2v1. Can now survive this. They pull out the flash freeze,
Oh,
and
no.
this is the final moment as Umbrella Reborn get taken down with only 4 points. Icon is still alive. Could this be the end of Umbrella Reborn?
Icon definitely know what they gotta do here, and that is to stay alive as long as possible. Because they have the afterburner passive, they can stay alive pretty easily if they have a bike on. Increased driving speed, reduced damage, and that is what they have in mind. We have 1 left remaining. However, staying alive right now in the top 6. Does this set them apart from Umbrella Reborn enough? We shall see, as 1 is making his way into the circle, or maybe not circling around. Tactical index removed as takes place. The amount of points for 1 is slowly increasing, and the more he is to be happy. Do easy, total of 15 points. Just gonna be chucking a couple of grenades with his grenade launcher. Unfortunately, he was sniped right in the head by the hands of Bloody Heads. Unfortunately, this is not gonna be a one-sided affair, because we have a couple of players from all around the building, or rather all around the place, that do manage to find a couple of shots and members on the side of Bloody Heads. Because Do Easy, they are pretty darn scary, and Shanks threw out the Riptide Rhythm, hoping that he'll be able to get a kill on the Too Bad. But Do Easy, they have members spread it out all over the place, and Too Bad is the one that managed to land the shot with the grenade launcher, while Shanks was too occupied with someone else.
Phenomenal performance on the side of Do Easy, picking up the 17th kill as we spotted them earlier on. Icon still alive and kicking. Finally, Blacklist International will go ahead to engage. Could this be the end? 1, if he drops out in the 5th spot, it is no consolation at all. They pick up 6 points. The biggest question is, how many kills do the players of Icon have on their side? Can we switch on over Observer? Ego Oblivion's taken out of the equation as well. Icon still alive. They get shut down in the 5th spot, but we have 0 information on the number of kills that Icon have. Let's all hope that it's gonna be enough, but it sure as heck is gonna be a tight one down at the bottom in the 12th to 13th spot. Bloody Head still alive and kicking. Blacklist International trying to secure a tremendous run for themselves, and with this booyah should be able to overtake the players of Geek Fam. They need a minimum of 23 points for themselves, but Do Easy, they look like they are on hot fire. In fact, flaming up with those blue flames. Let's see if they can shut down players of Bloody Heads as well. The one and only Jespu, 5 kills in hand and a great position behind the street trunk.
But unfortunately, he will be flushed into the circle real soon. And Mark, 180 degrees, and he turned around, gets a snipe down, and now it's gonna be left with 2 versus 2. Bloody Heads versus Blacklist International. Who's gonna be the one to come on top is Morgana, and the bottom right hand side of the screen, he's just gonna be working on the charge rifle, charge buster, but unfortunately that is gonna be the time that that's gonna be popped right up. It's gonna be the last member remaining as Morgana finds himself backing on his feet, unable to do quite much, but unfortunately because of the amount of glue walls around, oh, it doesn't matter! Despite the glue walls, they're separating the members from Bloody Heads to Blacklist International. The charge buster still did what he needed to, and Mark and friends, Bloody Heads, get themselves the booyah right on top of Blacklist International.
Not only do they get the booyah, but I believe they have managed to ruin the chances of Blacklist International replacing Geek Fam in that #1 spot. Bloody Heads, the team that used to be a bunch of chumps in MCP Major Season 1. They were not much of a threat at all within the league. But now, in Season 3, they are back, and they are back stronger than ever, with the ability to take down even the top dogs of the competition without breaking a sweat in that final circle. They finished off the final player of Blacklist International way too easy. It may have been a game of numbers, but it was their smarts that kept them alive to that final battle. And unfortunately for the players of Blacklist International, no matter how hard they tried, at the very end, it was unfortunate.
Boy, oh boy. The final game is the game that could have set a lot of differences to the leaderboard.
Yeah.
It could be a means of 1st or 2nd place. It could be the means of 12th place or 13th place. And at this point in time, I have no idea if whether Umbrella Reborn actually managed to make it all the way up to beat against Icon, despite the fact that they had, like, I think 4 kills. Icon, they did manage to survive for quite some time though. So I'm bamboozled And the fact that Blacklist International did manage to drop Geek Fam this early in the game, and they have managed to get themselves, I think, 9 kills to themselves, getting themselves second place, I think that's the 18 points is definitely looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, as you have said, I think that they were down and deficit of like what 30 odd points. So it's really just unfortunate for Blacklist International to lose their top spot on the final day where it really counts.
Yeah, but they still have one more opportunity. That is on the 16th of April, Grand Finals Day. This might just be a small loss in the grand scheme of things, but the one thing that Blacklist International needs to remember is a team like Do Easy. They can secure 4 booyahs within one day. I have got no doubt at all that the team will be able to perform on the final day of battle as well. It's not just one team that they need to deal with. MCP Major Season 3 has proven to have many stacked squads out here, Danley.
Gosh, I want to see the leaderboard. I can't wait. I need to see the points. I want to see who's made it to top 12 because I think we've all been waiting for it today. We didn't get to see the bottom of the bracket all day.
Yeah.
We had to guess. We had to math, which we failed terribly, by the way. We need to know who is going to be playing on that grand final day. I'm totally not pointing at Abstract with the math thing, but well, I'm just thinking I think Umbrella didn't make it. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I think they may have just missed out.
Yeah, I think they just missed out as well. They had one task. It sounds simple, but it's not. That is to stay alive. And one had just the better idea, right? And Abstract kind of broke down the perfect, way as to how he succeeded in doing that. Bringing the right passives in at the very same time, picking up a vehicle that gives him the maximum amount of mobility around that battlefield, not really getting caught in any one of those battles, spotting out players, immediately backing away. Icon played that so much smarter than the players of Umbrella Reborn. And as a matter of fact, I was actually a little upset and, disappointed with Umbrella Reborn that they didn't pick up a vehicle for themselves because you can't take the risk with those gunfights because you're not really a team that usually gets up on top of gunfights. Yes, the final week may have been a breakout week for them, but history needs to have taught them something, which is they should have just stuck with the game of survival instead of taking their chances with those fights, right? And I think they have learned the biggest of lessons today.
Abstract, do you have any thoughts you kind of want to share with us before we pop up this leaderboard?
Honestly, at one point in time, I really thought that Icon actually blew it. I really thought that they blew it because the two of them was literally just running around with vehicles. There are pros and cons in all of that. You have the afterburner passives. There's pros in that, and the cons. You are loud. You are very loud. You are taking attention all to yourself, and there could be a couple of firing squads that may actually be able to bring you down. And that was what happened at the final part of the moment. Icon got hit by a firing squad. The motorcycle combusted into flames, and he had nowhere else to go, and that was the end of the road for them. But the question is whether they actually managed to hold the spot.
We're going to find out in just a second. As you can see in the top right-hand side of the screen, that is the countdown till we find out who is going to be our top 12 teams that are going to the grand finals. That's going to be happening on the 16th. Let's see if our predictions are correct. Who are our top 12 teams? Let's take a look right now.
Well, recent match standings first, just to
man,
count them
on.
right back in here.
They hyped us up. Even production was just like, oh yeah, we got a minute to go. Okay, it's fine. We've got 26 points to do.
Icon did it, man.
Oh,
Icon did it. Icon did it. Icon, they just missed the chopping block with 1 point above Umbrella Reborn.
Wait, so you've been counting?
Yes, ma'am. Umbrella Reborn needed less than 5 points, but this was a 1 point positive on the side of Icon. Unfortunate for Umbrella Reborn. But look, here's the thing. I hope they come back much stronger the next time we see them, because we saw the fire in Umbrella Reborn in this final week. If only we had seen that sort of fire from week 1 of the league stages, this would have been such a different result. And hopefully they see that. And I want to see more of that, aggression out of teams like Icon as well. Tactical Index. In the final weeks, we are seeing them engage some of these bigger teams, and the bigger squads have no chance against them when they are on fire, guys.
All right. The overall standings are ready. Let's take a look and see at who is going to be making it to the grand final. We're going to be starting from the very top. So Geek Fam have been able to secure first place for the standings with 644 points. Second, we have Blacklist with 636. Third, we have Do Easy with 615. Hard to get in fourth place with 526. Todak in fifth place with 490 points. Beta Esports able to secure sixth place with 465 points. And in seventh, we have Bloody Heads with 462. And in a second, we're going to reveal the remaining 12 teams that are going to be making it through. But I think we kind of knew, right?
Yeah.
These seven, like top 7 was guaranteed. These guys, there was absolutely no way these teams are going to get dethroned.
Yeah, and because production has us on the panel, it's not so much of a surprise, because we kind of knew, right? The only change possible was at the very bottom as well as the top. Geek Fam replacing Blacklist International. Blacklist almost had an opportunity but kind of bombed out towards the very end. And that bomb out was not done by them. It was not their fault. It was Bloody Heads that ruined their chances, right? It was Bloody Heads that stopped them in those very final moments. If at all Geek Fam had been able to take those kills and the Booyah as well, there might have been a possibility of them finishing up in that number 1 spot. Because look at this, there's just 8 points between these two teams. But here are the bottom of the league stages. In the 8th spot, Axis Esports with 412 points.
What a redemption for this team. Like these guys were under Orange Esports and E-Wolves. That's a massive jump for Axis.
8th place. Now that is indeed quite a jump. Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if the 9th place is just a shy bit away from 8th place, to be fairly honest.
Yeah.
But who is it? That is my biggest question, because I didn't catch up to it. I didn't do the math. I can't.
Eastern
So let us take a look.
Overdose. It's one of these two.
Eastern
E-Wolves gang.
And look at that.
One
point.
1 point.
So this should mean that Overdose should be in the 10th spot, because these were the two teams who were so close to each other. And
What about Orange?
Orange Esports, they didn't do, I guess.
Very well
Wait, you are absolutely right. Orange Esports was so close as well. So this could be either Orange Esports or Overdose. One of these two teams, could be in the 10th spot. But either way, both of these teams, we expect them to be safe.
Well, let's see. Is it Orange? Is it Overdose? We know one of these two teams are going to appear here. It
Orange.
is
Orange.
Overdose. My God, they beat Orange.
They did. But the question is, by how much did Orange Esports actually lose out? They were so close to each other. And the 11th spot has to be Orange Esports, because there's no way in hell Icon managed to replace them.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 3 points. I think it's close, but it's not. I don't think it's a 1 point.
It could be 1 point. It could be 1 point. It could even be no points. They could be all equal for all we know. But, here's Orange Esports potentially in the 11th spot. 8 points. Ridiculous. They equalize, but unfortunately, because Overdose Esports has more Booyah than them, that's the tiebreaker. They get the 10th spot. Orange Esports, well, it's not an unfortunate situation. You still make it through to the grand finals.
But this also leaves that top 12th spot. The most important spot. Only one team is going to make it in this 12th spot. It is going to be
Icon! Yeah!
Oh man, Icon have done it. So that means, unfortunately, we are going to have to say goodbye to 6 teams. They played valiantly. They played with us all 4 weeks.
Yeah.
but it just wasn't enough.
How
Just
much?
what-
By how much was it not enough? We need to see what Umbrella Reborn had in the 13th spot. Umbrella Reborn shy of only 4 points, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 4 points away from making it to the top 12. I mean, you know, just like Umbrella Reborn, Icon, this was a last-minute play for them. They made it through
Yes.
the top 12 yesterday. Umbrella Reborn had the exact same fire. They almost made the cut, but unfortunately for Umbrella Reborn, Icon did not lose momentum from yesterday. They continued performing in here today as well. They brought out the best in themselves to make sure the top 12 is not given away. As for the teams of Ego Oblivions, it was a little too far already since they couldn't really get a lot of those podium finishes for themselves. 32 points away from the top 12 is most definitely a lot. AKO Ligers, we saw their hopes kind of end yesterday, guys. But Script Shots, this is one team, regardless of their situation down here at the leaderboard, they just showed us the best version of themselves in this final week.
If anything, you got to give Script Shots props for having to deal with Todak all week.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because Todak kept jumping on top of Script Shots. Very entertaining for us, but speaking of entertaining, let's see our MVPs for the entirety of the league stage. And sitting in number 1, we have Exact from GeekFan with 118 kills. And in second place, it's Oren with 97.
Wow.
That's a massive difference between first and second place.
Wow.
Wow. I mean,
I don't know why, but a small part of me thought that Zapdu would have been in here somewhere.
yeah.
Well, apparently not. Exact able to prove all of us wrong and that he is secretly the true MVP for the entirety of the league stage. But here is also our top 3 teams that have just come out of the league stage as well. Blacklist able to reclaim the throne in first place. GeekFam able to claim that second spot, and Dweezy just not close enough to be able to snatch that second place away. But the stats are more or less the same, aren't they, gentlemen?
No,
But
I think the stats are a little bit off here because GeekFam got that number 1 spot. So, or is this a little... No?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. We already saw the overall leaderboard, so we know exactly who's at the top
Good
3.
enough.
Either way, the top 3 pains, they don't really change because it was too easy. GeekFam as well as Blacklist International finishing up top, but it was GeekFam that took the throne right back, and we have to give them that credit because, I mean, the fight at the top, guys, has been an insane journey. And it wasn't just a situation where one team dominated all throughout the league stages. We did see the top team get replaced not once, not twice, but quite a number of times. We did see teams like Hard to Get visit the top. We saw Thoda visit the top. We even saw Do Easy visit the top for a little bit, but at the end of the day, GeekFam, they grabbed that number 1 spot right back for themselves to show who the true bosses of the MCP Majors is. This is the winner of Season 1, and now in Season 3 league stages, they do so well. But can they hit back hard at the grand finals as well to take the throne back from Blacklist International, the winners of Season 2?
Now, folks, memorize this list because these are our top 12 teams that are making it to the grand final. So pick your contenders, pick your horse now, because get ready for the race of their lives, as well as our lives as well. I'm really curious to see, are we going to see a repeat champion or are we going to see a brand new name? Because so far we haven't had any repeats, but then again, we've only had 2 seasons. It's a 3rd season. We could absolutely look at a repeat here.
Yes, we might. Will we get a champion from the Philippines? Because the Philippines have shown us that they've got the quality, and little by little, season after season, the Philippines, not only are they catching up, but at points they are outclassing the Malaysian side, but it's just not showing up on the leaderboard. Perhaps at the grand finals will be the time for the Philippines to rise up to the top.
I mean, are there any contenders from the top 12 that we're sort of looking at to potentially be a champion? That's not GeekFam and not Blacklist. We're going to assume we get a new champion. Who is most likely going to take the crown?
I mean, through consistency of data, Abstract, go first.
Honestly, I feel that there could be a chance that Do Easy would also be able to make it. We have seen them bombed a single day. and just threw everyone off guard.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe Do Easy is able to do that for that one day in the grand finals. You will never know.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. Toda hasn't really shown the best version of themselves, and so the exact same can be said for Vete Esports. Two of these teams can most definitely show up on the final day, and I know teams would be asking me like, but Mustachio, what about Hard to Get, right? They did such a great job. Why not them? I feel like their consistency throughout the whole competition has most definitely been there, but the streak within a day in itself, I don't feel like we've gotten the data chugged out by them. But, you know, throughout the league stages, they were still able to prove themselves. So I guess there's a little bit of viability there. What do you guys think?
They could be saving strats. They could just be saying, "Oh, we are supposedly bad during a whole play day," but they secretly just come online and say, "We're here for the crown." That could be the thing. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast, and to everyone watching, we'll see you on the 16th for the grand final. See you then. Booyah!
Strip shots as well as Toda. Instead, Danley should be the game of survival and take. Then we'll go ahead to waste two, make that three. Does not go down. Neptune, while he survived, pulls out yet another glue wall back double.
Come to the ground level, and they are stealing all of the kills from the side of Toda, and even gonna be killing Toda themselves. But he's gonna be the last man remaining, and Toda
was a good wipeout of Axis Esports. They should have kept the mother load off those grenade launches because they have the advantageous position. But unfortunately, because of the round,
honestly,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this time around the flight
that's gonna be put right on the Orange Esports. Icon knows what they're looking for. Jeffo gets himself the grenade
day on the side of the Orange Esports and Too Easy now going in for their booyah. And Icon taken out of the
knots are gone. But Too Easy, regardless of all that fact, they did whatever that they need to do. And despite being one of the furthest away to the next circle, they did not.
Please.
Yeah, I think Umbrella's capable when I'm trying as well as Paul Hampton, but you sure as heck get
No, not right now. And it's for the Spider for the side of Scripture. They're still ready and preparing to bring down all the members for the side of Beta Esports. It's going to be rewarded and eventually get them right in. They do run down 3-1 recap the head of the members from the side, you know, SSG around. This is quite a game. Indeed, Axis Esports getting themselves the point. Really run, draw, stop, 4 points away from Oberlin. It's Scripture finally, but not finally, but Scripture. They're just going to be getting their way down to Central, and it doesn't seem like exactly where the map is. But they continue on, they might be able to find a member from the side. Oh, is that possible? That was disgusting!
Zach hands on the chart, but needs to turn around and shut him down. Insane takes out Twinkle, and Exact who survives to make that final shot.
And booyah came to the antigens for Hard to Get. And let's not forget about the fact that they have a total of 2. I really want to see these 3 people.
Thank you so much.
In the minimap, they're just playing around with the opponent, just kind of like just putting out.
National defense can stay out of it, but they choose to aggress either way. The best step is to take down Spain and
See the thought process of Exact as he slowly away to unleash the blast. It was literally
Grand final.
players of AKO not really caring at all as they jump on into the fray. Flame with the Vector.
Ski Lodge. They're not exactly inside of the circle.
again.
That is the problem for them. He's just going to be working on the charge rifle. Charge buster, but unfortunately that is going to be the time that it's going to be pop right up. Look, it's going to be the last member remaining as Morgana finds himself banging on his feet. Unable to do quite much, but unfortunately because of the man, Mark and friends, Bloody Hats get themselves the booyah right on top.